Welcome into Hand Raised Guys, presented by Comer Heating and Air and Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. You know us by now. I'm Neal. He's Chase. You guys will get to join us later on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. There's pressure on callers after Monday night.
Poor performance for you guys.
Keeping it
not
real.
our fault. We're just the facilitators.
Keeping it real.
We're the point guards. You kept missing shots. I don't know what to say. I mean, we can only do so much around this point.
Nick Saban would say you had rested on your laurels.
Is that what it was? Yeah, as AK would say, justify your existence.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Got Bucks, Cowboys. I guess I should say Cowboys, Bucks, because the Bucks are the home team. The defending national champs. Defending Super Bowl champs, I should say. Getting their home game.
Ole Miss playing a ranked
night.
soccer match tonight.
Oh, yeah?
They play UCF tonight. I think UCF's 17th in the country.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. It's Ted Lasso night at the Ole Miss Soccer Stadium. Which makes sense.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's all good.
Are you watching Ted Lasso?
I'm kind of. I have not caught up.
Do you not like it?
No. It's great. The problem with it is, the expectations are so high that I think they have gotten met to this point. But season 2 worries me a little bit. Like I keep hearing we got a dip, and I'm a little concerned about the dip.
It was a brief dip. They've really done well.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about it on Mind on My Money today.
Yeah.
That's brought to you by Pinnacle, by the way. It's mypenwealth.com. It reminds me, from a writing standpoint, of The Office, in that they trick you with comedy. But what they're really doing is they're building character arcs all towards a conclusion. The end of The Office, I've talked about this. I can't watch the last episode of The Office without tearing up, because you develop such an affinity for different characters for different reasons. Especially
something that goes that long, where you really dive into them. They're such a part of your fabric for such a period of time. I mean, I was that way to a point with How I Met Your Mother, even though the final seasons were bad. I mean, it was just you had kind of, especially for my generation with that show, you kind of grew up with it a little bit from the standpoint of you go from your 20s into your 30s. Like you're getting married and you're having kids and things that they're doing at the exact same time. There are shows that pull you like that.
Ted Lasso,
trick you a little bit.
Ted Lasso does that. They're starting to do that with multiple characters. It's not just Ted.
Yeah.
It's multiple characters. I really like the show. It makes me, I don't know. Couple of the season 2 shows when they've ended, I've been a little dusty in the room.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. We're doing that. We're going to try out some hot sauce tonight. The person that provided it is actually in the thread. I'll allow him to dox himself if he would like. I kind of hate giving names out, but nonetheless, we're going to do some Trader Joe's Green Dragon tonight. Is what this one is.
Okay.
It is. Let's see. It's a jalapeno hot sauce. We got jalapenos, tomatillo, vinegar, a little sugar, some cilantro.
So far so good.
Yeah, garlic, more garlic, a little spinach powder.
Okay.
And a little lime and a little habanero.
So how much habanero?
It's the very last ingredient.
Yeah.
So
okay.
just a hit. So we got a little jalapeno.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, we'll do that here in a few minutes as we kind of get introduced to you guys, see what's going on.
I'll tell you real quick about Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. It's the same company, different names, same company. If you're in the Oxford, Tupelo, the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you are in Hernando, South Haven, Olive Branch, Memphis, that area generally, 662-429-4429. If you happen to call the one that should serve the other, they'll connect you. It's the same great products, same people, same service, different names. Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Guests will join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters is on the square in Oxford, probably a busy place over the course of the weekend. They'll have all the football games on Saturday. Ole Miss and Austin Peay get started at 6:30. There will be games on earlier if you're not in the Grove or whatnot, or Friday night, whatever the case may be, at Rafters. Great burgers, po' boys, appetizers, beer selection, full bar, the whole deal at Rafters Music and Food. I'm coming to you from the Clark Ford Studios, so is Chase. Clark Ford Studios, 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for our buddy Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. And once you get your quote, you can shop it around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900.
So, Matthew Jones says he does not care, so he provided the Green Dragon here. So, again, we'll get to that here in a second, see what it tastes like. Pre-game show has been played and loaded, so it is there. If anyone is ready for it, it is
long.
It is almost 3 hours long. 250, I think, is where it ended up at, something like that. So you can hear from Ben Mintz. You can hear from Pete DeWeese doing another hell of a job breaking down just schematics in general. You get a little bit of everything there with Pete. Keith Carter on the show, Jeffrey Wright, again, Ben Mintz. So good stuff for
2 hours and 51 minutes.
Yeah, I looked to make sure we had stayed in one stream, and
yeah, we did.
We had, so I saw those.
Kudos to the people at Northeast Spark for making that happen.
nespark.com, SPARC.com for more on that. It's not a surprise. I want to hit this one topic, then we'll try that, and we'll go from there. But we watched the internet today, watched the internet the last couple of days. By the way, credit to the Ole Miss football Twitter account today for the Blues Clues tie-in with the
it was very good.
thing. It was very good, very, very relevant, very taking advantage of a meme that has happened.
Because I raised my kids to Blues Clues.
I remember Dylan watching it. I'm obviously too old, but I remember Dylan watching it with Steve in the late 90s.
Sometimes it would get really damn frustrating.
Blues Clues?
The clue is right there. It's right there. It's in front of you. But then you would realize that the audience was 3 or 4. Yeah.
See, I was not aware. He got out of it, or I got out of watching it in the same time, or whatever was happening. Yeah. I did not realize that they sent him off to college.
And he just left.
Just gone.
He's just gone. I mean, for kids, I had to be like, wait, Steve's leaving?
Well, he said you got to meet your best friend Joe.
Yeah, I know, I get it, but like they'd been with Steve.
That's our dude. I mean,
Steve was their guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they had gone on lots of problem-solving deals.
Yeah.
That'd be like Dora.
Like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Mickey just peace out of this thing.
It'd be like Dora going, "Hey, I'm out. See you, Boots."
Yeah. Carmen Sandiego back in my day.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I know. So credit to them. But all I'm saying is, you talked to Ben about it. You can listen to it in the pregame. Matt Corral getting significant Heisman buzz after one week. Vegas believing him enough to move some odds down to around 5-1.
Yeah.
Here this week. A team that went 5-5 last year. I know Lane Kiffin's the coach, but the way Ole Miss has reemerged into the national spotlight so quickly. It speaks to a couple things. It speaks to Lane. I mean, that's
yes.
That's 1A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, whatever.
Yes.
But this plays into Lane taking the job and everything else. And I'm not really trying to make this an in-state thing, but they have so much more national brand recognition than like a Mississippi State to be able to make that jump so much quicker. Yeah. And kind of be just an SEC team that elevates.
It was the reason he wanted the Ole Miss job over the Arkansas job. It wasn't that he thought the Arkansas job was a bad job. He just knew it was a more difficult job to do what he wanted to do, which was to build a national brand.
Yeah. You look at him today, he replies to the dumb tweet about he can't win 9 games, he can't help himself, he just does a little okay.
The Will Hall tweet was just fantastic.
Oh, I didn't see this.
So Will yesterday, bless his
I listened to the interview.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So Lane retweeted it with deep breaths.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I laughed so hard. I'm like, oh my! Lane should have done his own GIF with the calm down. Yeah, I almost tweeted to Lane, "You blew a chance there."
If he does his own GIF for calm down,
I would have said retire the internet. That's as good as it gets. It was, and then he did the thank God to Dontario Drummond, and that was funny.
I mean, he's on it today.
Yeah.
He likes his team a lot.
Sure. And he's trying to make sure his team stays
loose, confident.
His
the whole
team's
deal.
Personality.
Because that's what happens in college football. Teams take on a coach's personality, demeanor, everything. You're a robot of your coach in all ways. It's why
it was the one big flaw for Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
When they were loose, dangerous. But then they got tight.
however orchestrated or not orchestrated, I mean, you get the Katy Perry tweet today. She has 108 million Twitter followers.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to laugh at something, go to the replies because no one has a damn clue what she's talking about in the replies. They're just Katy Perry fans tweeting all sorts of gibberish.
Yeah.
But
well, and it's also been 7 years.
It's been 7 years, and there's a staying power to that for whatever that's worth.
Dude, we live in a news cycle where the president of the United States was asked about something that happened in Afghanistan, and he goes, well, that was 4 or 5 days ago. Literally, his answer was, that was 4 or 5 days ago. And this is not political, not at all. I mean,
no, just cycle. It's
just the news cycle's like, phew. I mean, it's so fast. No one remembers Katy Perry at Ole Miss. I mean, they do if you're Ole Miss. But if you're out there in the
You don't remember that
sphere,
one game day when Katy Perry held up a corn dog?
Yeah, my buddy in Dubuque probably doesn't quite place that.
But that'd be the day he went, I'll be damn. Katy Perry tweeted about Ole Miss and Matt Corral for Heisman.
Exactly. Bingo.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Something. I don't. They got to keep winning, but
maybe he could have done that at Arkansas. Maybe he could have done that at Missouri. I don't know, but I think you can do it at Ole Miss easier than you can do it at those places.
There's a certain lane at Ole Miss because Ole Miss is kind of known always as being that chaotic, crazy, stupid, good, bad team that's good for TV or whatnot. They have quickly elevated right now, without really any caveats, as one of the top 5, and maybe I'm using too many teams, fun teams in college football.
Ooh,
just straight fun. TV, points,
sure.
Whatever. You know you're going to get something when they're on there. I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be nuts, but you're going to get something.
I don't know who's above them in that category.
Yeah, just...
Not saying they're the top 5 team.
No, it's about just you turn the TV on and who's getting the eyeballs and goes, I'll be damn, Ole Miss is playing.
Sure.
Something's about to happen.
Yeah, I'll watch. Might be a skyrocket, might be a train crash. I don't know.
Not going to be boring.
Yeah, no, they're top 5 least boring teams.
Yeah. Now they need to, now the goal for Lane, he says, is, well, we'd like to be one of the top 5 winningest teams more than whatever.
Of course.
But look, for recruits, for brand.
I keep reminding people that 2019 season gets remembered for Elijah Moore and the urination thingy.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't very good either.
What time does this game kick?
7:20 something.
Okay.
I don't know. You know how the
They're about
NFL
to
is.
run
It's a party.
The opening night really is.
Yeah, of course.
It's
You ever been to an opening night?
Nope.
I went to one in Indianapolis.
Oh, I remember that night.
New Orleans at Indianapolis.
Yeah, I didn't handle that night very well. I had a couple and did not like the way that game went.
Indy was a party. That place was loud.
That was like 40-14 Colts that night. They beat the hell out of the Saints.
Yeah. Well, if you were in downtown Indianapolis that day, and I was, you knew. I know how this game's going to go.
Did you really?
Too much emotion.
Saints beat the Vikings in theirs. Who was it? I don't even remember. I know they won, and I remember kind of watching it, but I do not remember who they played. Do you?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. In 10.
For some reason, Vikings sounds right.
I could be completely wrong, but for some reason that sticks out. 14-9 over the Vikings. Yeah.
Bringing out all the trophies for the Bucks. I mean, this is the night you celebrate it.
And they're going to win.
Looks like a very socially distanced crowd.
Does it?
In Tampa, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what most NFL teams were doing and not doing.
I'm kidding. It's packed.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
Are we watching two different broadcasts or what?
I don't
what
know.
Doing?
I've got one on the Peacock streaming there, and then this is on NBC.
It's not showing the same things unless we're really delayed, and we might just be really delayed.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either. I'm not really sure what's going there. Did you go to St. Elmo's back in 2006?
I did not. It was too crowded. It was crazy.
I've circled a couple Saints games. They play a game on my birthday. I thought about that. There's 2 or 3 that have caught my eye that I've inquired about with some people and kind of seen what the deal is. But no, I haven't actually made firm plans for any Saints games yet. I mean, I typically will make at least one. I used to be a lot better about it before just life. But they've got a night game on my birthday that makes some sense. So that's possible. It would be doable. Let's see. Yeah, we're well aware. Streaming's around 34 seconds delayed because even you guys are about 35 seconds behind us in what you're seeing.
Is it a big delay this time?
It's about what it always is. It's about 30 seconds. Yeah, something like that. That's typically kind of where we're at. Yeah, actually, today is not my birthday, even though I've seen 4 or 5 birthday messages in there. It is in December, so after the football season.
Yeah, every day's your birthday.
I actually kind of like Collinsworth. I think he does a good job. I know he's sort of a
He's fine.
love and hate guy, but I think he's pretty good.
I don't hate him.
Yeah, there's not a ton of good golf in New Orleans. I mean, you're doing TPC Louisiana and driving over there, you're doing English Turn. I mean, there's a couple decent, like if you literally just need to get out and hit the golf ball, I mean, there's a couple public courses locally, but without sounding like a snob. No,
so how much
really.
are you putting on?
This stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, not much. I just kind of want to see what it tastes like first, and then we'll go from there. But I figure a cracker is good because it doesn't have a taste you're interfering with. We're trying hot sauce for the podcast people. So, again, this is Green Dragon, I believe is what it's called. Is that right? From Trader Joe's?
Yep. Trader Joe's Green Dragon Hot Sauce. Got a little heat right there.
I like jalapeno, so I'm all about a jalapeno hot sauce.
I'm bracing for the habanero to kick through.
There's a little bit at the very end, but not really. I mean, it's not harsh.
That's good.
That's good because that's not killing you at all. I think that would make. I honestly really do think that would make a hellacious version of the jalapeno wings from like a Wild Wings. A much better version of that with that stuff. I think that would be great with a wing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, we might have chewed the microphone. That's possible.
Did we?
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry.
Let me get one more. I want to try it with a little more. Give me one more cracker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, YouTube will catch the F-bombs.
Yeah, every time. Every time.
They're good about that.
We see it, but nobody else does.
Yeah. So we got the message, but do you understand Pete a little more this week? Get completely clued in, had it all?
Yeah. I'm starting to I'm learning football.
You learned football today?
Yeah. It's pretty good stuff. Pete. And Matt, too. It's got a little lingering heat. It stays on your tongue a little bit.
This is really good. The front and the beginning and the end. The middle, it really dies down, and then it kind of catches you one last time. Yeah, I need that on maybe some flank steak, some wings, something like that.
Yeah. We made chimichurri last week. It was delicious. Yeah, it's not overpowering.
It's not as hot as the Scotch bonnet mustard that I eat all the time. That's probably the main hot sauce I eat, unless I'm eating like something.
Matthew, I would like that quite a bit. If that's not too much of a trouble, I'd love that.
Yeah, that's good.
That's kind of my speed right there. Because I don't like it a whole lot hotter than that.
No, you don't want to get just...
Where it's just, it serves really no purpose other than the intentional pain.
Yeah. The intentional pain. The ones where you go, okay, you can't enjoy that. There's no way that you're like, look, I'm sorry about your manhood because something is going on where you felt the need.
I've never understood that. Oh, that makes you less of a man. I'm like, how? What is
the guy who's like sweating, like he's just pouring off. I was like, all right.
It's not even pleasant. Yeah, I like flank steak too. Aubrey says love flank steak. I like skirt steak the best.
Yeah, sure.
I'll put the skirt steak in the sous vide at about 129.
Okay.
For like 6 hours.
Is that what it takes?
No, I mean you could do the longer you keep it in there. I think my experience is the longer you keep it in there, the more tender it gets. Okay. But it doesn't continue to cook it.
Yeah, sure.
Because obviously it gets to 129.
It will hold it at 129.
Yes. And then I'll sear it just literally, a minute and a half on each side. probably gets it to 134, 135. Yet it's really tender. It's fantastic.
Really?
Oh, I love it. And I like flank steak a bunch. I like flat iron steak. You can do the same thing, but skirt has become my favorite.
What's your chimichurri recipe? What do you do?
It was a shallot, a Fresno chili, parsley, oregano, cilantro, red wine vinegar, salt, and oil.
Will says 1 cut of meat is your final meal. It's going to be cooked perfectly, and I don't have to worry about anything. I'm just looking for flavor. It's ribeye or prime rib.
It's a bone-in ribeye.
Yeah, that
cooked perfectly.
that's what I'm saying.
Because here's my thing about.
Because I order a lot of filet out somewhere.
Is it bad for me to admit this out loud that I'm not crazy about filet? It's fine. It's fine. I like it, but there's a certain degree of, hey, this is like the finest cut. You're like, yeah, but a lot of times filet doesn't have a lot of flavor. I'm just being honest.
Oh, no. That's what I was about to say. It's the beef version of. I don't even. I'm losing my train of thought, but like whatever it is, you have to flavor yourselves, and that's what it tastes like almost. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, I'm not calling it tofu, but the beef version of tofu.
I'm good with that. Where you have to, but if you tell me, hey, I can go to a restaurant and I don't have to worry. I'm not worried about calories. I'm not worried about money. I'm not worried about anything. It's a bone-in ribeye, but I want it medium rare. I don't want it too rare where you get closer to the bone, it's blue. And sometimes that happens.
Well, now that's true. Yeah, sure.
And then at that point, I know some people like steak to the point where you're not sure that the cow's dead. I'm not there. I like medium rare.
If I don't completely
rare.
Trust the place, I will order a filet sometimes because I know it's not going to be so fatty that I'm pissed off when there's very little meat on it.
Sure.
I know the amount of beef I'm getting,
sure.
And I trust them to go, hey, hopefully they just do some garlic, salt, and pepper on that thing and call it a day.
So this is what's going to – Greg will love and hate what I'm about to say, Greg Jones. When you get used to going to places like LB's to get your meat,
mm-hmm.
It's a blessing.
Changes the whole.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because it's so good that when you step down a little, you can be like, that's not.
That's not what I asked for.
It's kind of like wine.
Mm-hmm.
You get used to a $30 red. That $11 red that's a lot cheaper tastes like jet fuel.
I mean, any spirit.
It is what it is.
There's a reason we drank Taka in college and we don't drink Taka now. I mean, it's.
And I'm with Cole when he says this. He's right. He says a good strip is amazing. A bad strip is awful. Ribeyes have a lot less fluctuation. So he's right. Because a great strip, especially a bone-in strip.
Yeah, sure.
In many ways is, to me, better than a bone-in ribeye. Because I know I'm going to get more meat, less fat, and there's going to be more consistency in the temperature. So that might be my answer now that I think about it. If it's going to be done exactly perfectly, it might be the bone-in strip.
I think I'm still bone-in ribeye, but sure. And I mean, in a really good one, I do love me some prime rib that is really well done, correctly done. So,
right.
Yeah. You just burn the hell out of it. I'm all about it. Yeah.
I like prime rib fine. It's not my favorite thing. It's
really?
Good. It's good. I mean, I like it. I wouldn't say, that's awful or anything, but I don't.
But brisket's your favorite barbecue meat, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Yeah, but I don't like a ton of fat cap on the top of a brisket.
You cut almost all of it off.
I do.
Yeah, I don't drink enough rum to have a great opinion. I mean, I've had some rum. I'm good with some rum, but that's not something I'm well versed in enough. I've done a couple rum tours, and that's about all I got.
Yeah, our friend Neal Forbes brought me some rum last week that I haven't tried yet, but it looks really good.
Ginger says, my whole family eats steaks well done. I didn't know I liked steak until I went to college and had one cooked medium. I mean, like, are we talking, I mean, like, I obviously no pink, but, like, the little bit of shade of brown, are we talking, like, charred? Like, what are we doing here?
I've seen them get well done, where they're well done, where the only way you could eat them is A1 or
you've got to coat them in.
I mean, you got to do something at that point.
Because even at that point, that's not even making a good sandwich.
Oh no!
I mean, that's not
no,
even
no,
like
no. It would be a bad sandwich. Bucks go 3 and out. All right, we're doing food for a minute, and that's okay. There's a lot of football content.
Yeah, I mean,
up on
there's
our
literally a 3-hour football show, so go have at it. Like this is Thursday night.
So I have not, Cole, sous vide'd a brisket. I have thought about it, and I've read about sous videing it to like 140, 145, and then smoking it the rest of the way. So you're sous videing it to the wall, and then smoking it through the wall.
Oh.
And they say that it creates that the beef is juicier. There's more hydration. Because you can cook a brisket a little too fast and dry it out.
Well, sure. Oh,
Really dry it out.
Yeah, brisket's one that I'm kind of scared of. Like I feel like it requires a little more than I have the ability for at the moment. The best bourbon is William LaRue Weller. It's not close. Year over year. It's bottom line. Now, good luck finding it, but that's the answer. The Pappy thing does very little for me.
Yeah, I've had Pappy once, and it was
the
good.
15 is very good. The 20 is very good year over year. The 23 is too aged and starts getting into a weird flavor to me. Frankly, I think that's the most overrated bottle of alcohol in the world, is the 23. The 12 is kind of bad most years to me. Not a huge fan. But the 15 and 20 are really good sweet spot bourbons. I mean, look, if you want to pay for them, have at it. But they're good. But the 20 is my favorite of all of them. The 23 is way overrated.
This is about where I need Cole to call in a minute and tell me how he did the brisket.
Oh, what did he say?
Well, because he says it's the way to go. He says I think he was talking about me. He says I was on the right track.
Okay.
Essentially, he says, yep, that's the way to go. It's awesome. And then someone asked about, do you inject the brisket, then add beef broth when you wrap? When I wrap, I pour some coffee on it. Just for the fluid. You don't ever taste the coffee.
Cole, are you around where you talk? If I just tell Neal to call you, we can just do it that way. Ole Miss only had one practice media availability. I think they were out there to some extent Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, they practiced 2 days.
Yeah.
Lane was being a little bit hyperbolic when he said one practice.
Although he said he didn't see it.
He didn't see it. Because I don't think he's getting cleared until tomorrow.
Yeah, the two best attainable every single day bourbons right now are Old Forester 1910 and Woodford Double Oak. That you just will find on every shelf. Those are the answers. I mean, yeah,
I like Woodford Double Oak.
Yeah, it's good.
He says he'll call when the kids go down.
Okay, cool. Well, just shoot us one of us a text and we'll look for it.
There is a notebook up on rebelgrove.com. I didn't talk to him. I wasn't there. Full disclosure, I was taping interviews. But I listened to the interviews with Dontario Drummond, yes, Orlando Amana, and DeAndre Prince. So that notebook is up. All the videos are up. There is speaking of LBs, there's a Butcher versus a spin instructor up. They combined to go 16-4 last week, so we can make fun of them, but they went 16-4 against the spread. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I mean, say what you will. So that's up also, and
McKenna 10 Ginger was it. It was a great bourbon that was sort of a secret, and then it won
Can't find it anymore now.
I believe it was the San Francisco competition, spirits competition. And when that happened, it blew up, not only in not being able to find it, but the price 2.5 time jump, where it made it, okay,
it wasn't
it's
that
still
good,
but now we're getting
because it went from like 50 to 125,
yeah,
right?
At one point, it's like 35. I mean, it was like oh, hell, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And now when you're getting into a $90 bottle, well, I got a lot of options now at $90 of what I can go grab.
Well, that's what people will make fun of me, because I'll talk about Buffalo Trace, how much I like Buffalo Trace. And they're like, well, there's this bourbon and this bourbon and this bourbon and this bourbon is better. And I'm like, yeah, but I can get Buffalo Trace for $30. And those are not $30. So, yeah, the $90 bourbon is probably better than the $30 bourbon, but
yeah, there's some day drinkers where you're just not going to spend the $110, $120 on a bottle when you go through enough that becomes a thing. I didn't think about getting it from a military base.
I need to go to La Vigna. I've heard people talk about that in Tupelo.
Oh, they're great. Yeah, Joe's great.
And I've not been.
Yeah.
Where is that?
I'm
learning Tupelo.
It's not far away from you at all. No, if you get back out on Gloucester, yeah, you're close from where you're at. You can make that during practice and easy.
Okay.
So that'd be an easy little jaunt for you.
Okay.
Marv said it went from 40 to 80, now back to about 50. Okay, well, at 50, now we're back in the ballpark.
So I was in
makes some sense.
Jackson, Tennessee a couple weeks ago for Carson's tournament, and I stopped at a place and I actually saw it there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be more available. I haven't hunted for it in a long time just because it came so whatever.
Gulf Coast Reb, thanks so much for the super chat. It says, reminder for the thumbs up, guys. Yes, please like the podcast. Just it kind of helps the way it's distributed a little bit. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. We're super close to 4,000 today. We might already be there. I don't know.
It was at 3.99 when I looked.
Well, he says, really appreciate it. We appreciate you. And somebody earlier in the show, let me go find it.
Okay.
Because I think we were.
He was asking for hats. I answered the question and said we currently do not have any inventory on that.
But thanks for the super chat, Kyle. That was very nice.
Just got a text that Carly wants to know Neal's dogs' names. They are Gus and Rizzo, which I guess I should have told her at some point. But
Gus and Rizzo.
That's Rizzo's. Not really the most friendly, just most outgoing. That's not fair to Gus to say most friendly.
No, Gus is very friendly.
Yeah, he's just not going to go out of his way to come find you.
Yeah,
the way Rizzo is.
Gus kind of chill.
He's an introvert. Rizzo's an extrovert.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right. At nighttime, Gus goes and gets on his bed and goes to sleep. Rizzo will come in and hang out with me until I go to bed.
Rizzo has that great lab thing where he shakes his whole body. He's like a bull in a china shop and knocks everything over. It's almost like a snake. It has like 7 different vertebrae in it where it just does this.
Yeah, he gets excited. He wags his whole body.
Like and subscribe. What it does is just if we have more likes, it throws it into more people's feeds. The way the algorithms and things work. Like the other night on Saturday, we asked you guys to like it a lot. It got into trending in Mississippi, where if you lived in Mississippi, you automatically were seeing it in your thing as a live show that you could see. So, hey, we have the Golden Triangle as a top 10 market on our ad packs. That
consistently is.
Yeah, that is correct. It sits 6 to 9 depending on sort of what's.
I'm gonna see where that is.
What's going on? See where what is.
I'm gonna see where Golden Triangle is right now. I'm not going to dive into all of it. I'm just curious.
Just on SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it won't be super scientific here, but
yeah, it'll give a general idea. It probably tells you a lot about just Ole Miss's. Yeah, it messed up on the notifications this morning, Ben. I don't really know what caused that, but we had that issue with multiple people. It did not, for the people who had hit the bell, it had not done a very good job of alerting you guys. I don't really know why.
Last 7 days, our top markets are Oxford.
Sure.
Madison. SoundCloud breaks it down too much because you don't get general.
Yeah, like I would like the entire Jackson area.
Yeah, so it's Madison, Brandon, which is the same area.
Yeah.
Memphis, then Jackson, then Nashville, then Ridgeland, which tells you.
So we've done a lot in Jackson's, what you're telling us.
It tells me that Jackson's our number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Atlanta.
Okay.
Birmingham, Tupelo. Then there's Ripley, which should count as Tupelo.
Ripley?
Yeah. Dallas, Hernando, which is kind of Memphis. I mean, Clinton, which is sort of Jackson. I mean, it's.
That's funny.
We appear to be doing well.
Okay.
So good for us.
So the middle of the state is conquered. What this tells you about the Ole Miss alumni base, fan base, whatever, is the coast is non-existent. We never push numbers in the coast.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where we get the first coast number. D'Iberville's coast, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, it's we got a pretty good number there.
Ginger,
Pascagoula, Hattiesburg.
Okay.
All right, but the answer is we're not doing well in the Golden Triangle right now.
Okay. Well,
we're just not. We've fallen off in the Golden Triangle.
We can look on YouTube, but I've never really paid attention to that. As far as where they come from, that's our problem. Is we don't have anything that puts all the location analytics in one place. So you have to kind of go and average it out. We have a company that will put listens into one place, but as far as the location stuff, it does not work the same way. But yeah, the coast doesn't do much for us.
You guys like winning, I can tell you that.
You guys like winning.
I mean, I'm looking at numbers like immediately after wins, and it's like go Rebels. Yeah.
We've never said we're trying to dominate the Oxford video scene. That has literally never been a goal of mine that has come out of my mouth.
I don't even know how one would do that.
Well,
given that I didn't know there was
a
scene.
You just dominate. I mean, you control it.
Okay.
You take it over. I mean,
For those of you who aren't listening to the Rippy Wrights podcast, by the way, you should. But apparently a lot of you are.
Yeah.
His podcast with Weldon Rotenberg where they talked about the Louisville game. I mean.
Yeah.
They have really good numbers.
Yeah. To the point I wanted to go in and kind of see what other stuff was looking at there.
I mean, to the point where there's a couple of our shows where we're just barely beating them.
Yeah, he was piquing my interest a little bit.
Yeah, I know. So.
Oh, I mean, look, Neal, you can do a damn Tuesday podcast and look what happens.
I know.
Rippy takes over.
I'm like, well, I mean,
Jesus.
A lot of you listen to the Butcher versus the Spin Instructor, which has only been up since this morning. It's done pretty well.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway,
grind. All jokes aside,
nobody wants all the analytics. I know, but
grind. The joke is that back during the probation NCAA stuff, really and truly, like we popped big numbers in Starkville and the Triangle,
huge
during all the NCAA crap. I mean, it has fallen off a little since then, but
they don't. Now that you're winning, they don't want to listen.
No, the day after you beat Louisville on national television is not really the time. They go, hey, you know what? Let's see what those assholes are saying today. Like that's not really.
That's true.
Yeah, that's not really it. No score halfway through the first quarter. Cowboys and Bucks.
Boy, it was a pretty throw.
We were referring to our former coworker who is trying to dominate the Oxford video scene. Hope all is well.
Yeah, we did get good numbers in the Golden Triangle when it was bad.
Oh, that was.
They would listen.
Oh. They're supposed to go automatically to Spotify. We don't actually upload anything to Spotify, but of the two places we upload them to, they're supposed to go everywhere from there. How that works and doesn't work, I have no idea. So beats me. Yeah, I mean, look, Ripley's got a big fish. That's true. No, not incorrect, Grind. You wait before your time, probably with us. You wouldn't make this connection.
Yes,
not Flames.
A ways back.
Yeah, they hit a home run with the Snoop truck thing. It is it's. I assumed it was going viral. It had a lot of watches.
That was when they tied into Blue's Clues, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That's what I'm assuming he's talking about. That's what I saw. Let's see. No other news, right? SEC basketball schedule did come out.
Yeah, Ole Miss opens at home.
First time in how long?
As long as I can remember, man. I mean, I know it's happened before, but
But it seriously is like 3 of the last 15 or something.
It was a running joke with Andy during his years, and I think it's the first time for Kermit that they've opened it home.
All right, Rebel 00 says, figured out the Publix bourbon marinated salmon recipe and currently in the process of baking that right now. It's fantastic. Why are we calling it the Publix bourbon marinated salmon recipe? I prefer my salmon cast iron skilleted than baked.
Always do it
on it.
Always do it on the planks.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because you like the cedar.
Because it's easier to get a consistent cook through it without burning the bottom by accident.
Yeah. Oklahoma Rebel, thank you for the super chat. Where are you from in Oklahoma? Obviously. Neal has had family there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I almost had a kid go to school there.
Well, you said you kind of screwed it up.
Yeah, I think she'd have headed there. Touchdown Bucks.
Yeah, they're going to win tonight. Most nights, unfortunately. 9 plays, 94 yards, 4 minutes and 9 seconds there for Tampa.
Brady hasn't lost the step yet.
What's the promo code at Dead Soxy?
Is
it just Rebel Grove or is it something different?
Yeah, I'm making sure it's not a Rebel Grove 20. Let me look.
Bourbon, soy sauce, garlic, brown sugar or honey, and a little olive oil. Okay.
Go through a couple of these real quick so that you'll know.
Sure.
Muddy Water Camo, the promo code is just Rebel Grove. You get 35% discount on all of their products from the site, free shipping on $100 or more on your order. They sent me some of their stuff. I'm not a hunter, and I think it's really cool. A lot of new products on the site. Their brand new Muddy Water Lady Camo apparel is up on the site as well. MuddyWaterOutdoors.com. Again, promo code Rebel Grove for 35% off. Dead Soxy. It's deadsoxy.com, DEADSOXY.com. Promo code Rebel Grove at checkout. One word, but it appears that you can capitalize or not. Doesn't appear to be case sensitive. But if it is, it's the capital R, capital G at checkout for 25% off your entire order. And remember, when you go to that order, when you go to do it, check out their clearance stuff, because sometimes by the time you include the 25% with the clearance, it's like 80% off sometimes.
80.
Sometimes. So if you're just interested in grabbing some extra socks, do that. Their Ole Miss stuff, the college line, is really cool. I actually talked to somebody at Arkansas today who had gotten some of the Arkansas stuff, just the red and white.
Yeah, sure.
They were thrilled.
Yeah,
it's a great product.
Yeah, Dead Soxy's also doing those kind of those red and blue bundles where you can get 4 or 5 pair that are at least Ole Miss colored, kind of all at the same time there. So take advantage of that. You and I both have a couple at least out of that pack.
Yeah.
We used to talk about them a lot as far as what they do. They do not fall down. I mean, for most people, that really is a big deal. They almost kind of use little rubber things, kind of like the inside of golf shorts, but they will hold on. They're comfortable, and they will not fall down your calf there. To your
no, you never have to pull them up.
Yeah, that's the whole deal. So,
least favorite part of our new business model. I don't know. I don't know that I have one.
Is in the new way we do Saturdays?
I guess just the way we do
Everything?
our job. I don't really have a least favorite part.
Especially now that the morning shows are back. I feel like just the flow is so much better in the mornings for a reason I'm not even really sure of. I don't know why I think that. Depending on the day, I kind of miss games a little bit as far as being in the stadium, because it's so different from what I just grew up doing.
Sure.
What it's so different from. But here's the deal too. I mean, in all state jokes aside or whatever, but there have been times on the beat where we had legitimate friends and we found people really funny, or it was a little more entertaining, but a lot of that time has passed, honestly, from that. And I don't even necessarily mean that as the criticism that it came off as, but I mean, you look around and I mean, Neal and I, the way just hiring and everything's happening, I mean, nobody's much still around from 10 years ago.
No.
But there's a lot of young bucks hanging around now versus, it's not David Brandt and Kyle Veazey and people like that still on the beat, chilling out. So it's been a minute.
I don't know if this answers your question. I've kind of found it to be sort of cool, what we do now, if I'm just being completely honest. I've had more fun with it than I'd had in a while.
The video elements?
The video, the podcasting, getting to do different kinds of podcasts, getting to do different kinds of things. I've had people ask me, like, why do you guys do the butcher versus the spin instructor, and why do you do stuff like that? And because I realize it's not all Ole Miss stuff, but I think it's kind of, I don't want to use the word lifestyle because that's the wrong word.
Neal's an influencer is what he's saying.
And no, I'm not that. But I think the brand is that we've shown we can be fun and we can be serious. And when people go, well, you never give us hardcore football, well, now we do. I mean, over the past 2 weeks, it's been 2 hours and 31 minutes combined with Pete, and it's pretty hardcore football. If that's not hardcore football, then I don't know what is.
It doesn't exist if that is not it.
And so I feel like we kind of...
I mean, you're literally getting like an audio reading of like Smart Football by Chris Brown. I mean, that's sort of what you're
and he's one of the few people who I think can pull it off. And so I kind of feel like we give a little bit to everybody. And then sometimes I'll get the feedback on the butcher versus the spin instructor from people, especially because it's late in the week. And you get it late in the week, and people are like, oh, that's a fun content item. I like that. It gets a lot of listens or watches on Friday from people.
Yeah, it's not serious.
No, no, not at all.
If they go 10-2 or 2-10, who gives a?
Yeah, like Campbell called today, and they both got tickets. There was a lottery system at Arkansas, and they both got tickets. And we were telling them, because last week they waited till like late first quarter to go, and they couldn't get in the student section.
Oh, really?
Because it was full. And I'm like, look, it's Texas. It's going to be a lot of people. They're expecting standing room only. And if you want to get a spot in the student section, you're going to have to go 4:15, 4 o'clock for a 6 o'clock game, or you're not going to get in. And so, I don't know, it's just kind of, that kind of stuff's fun. Like, I'm looking forward tomorrow to getting pictures from them just of the stadium being full. But I don't know, from a brand standpoint, I just kind of think we've created sort of a diverse brand.
I mean, from a podcast standpoint, obviously video over the last year, we've gone through a 5-year NCAA colonoscopy and a pandemic, trying to make you guys be informed, laugh, just kind of make it fun and routine throughout every day. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on over the course of that period of time. So, I mean, that plays into it, too. I mean, it's a lot. But
Kenneth Morgan with the Super Chat says, for the first time since the Eli years, I'll be at the game this weekend. 12 years in the Marines, and being too far away, I'm over the moon excited.
First one back on September 11th.
Yeah, thank you for your service.
No, the access thing is not a reason that I'm not. That's not a negative for the most part. I mean, look, I don't really necessarily mean this negative because it's just the way of the world. It's capitalism these days. There is a certain competition level with the university, but it just is what it is. And I mean, we're going to have more flexibility there. There's more ways to do things that are fun. That does not keep me up at night. I did see that podcast on YouTube a couple of days ago, but I mean, whatever. That's not that's not something that's affecting our day.
No. Well, I mean, here's the truth. If it ever goes bad, you're not going there for a podcast. You're coming here for a podcast. And if it ever really goes good, we're going to have a lot more fun on a podcast than they are. Their hands are tied.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, they do a super job and all that stuff.
But
and we use some of their stuff. I mean, they do a great job with video and.
I don't know of a better situation from a photo standpoint at a store at a place other than what Josh gives us too.
And Seth with the
video
with
stuff.
the FTP stuff is great.
What Ole Miss news story really catapulted business to NCAA?
Yeah.
There's been two huge jumps. It was early freeze. 12, 13 recruiting class, kind of Ole Miss getting back in the football business, and then NCAA hell where for several years every day was something new and some stupid interview and something that was going on. So those two things catapulted it at different times, kind of the same amount in different ways.
Then there was Rich Rodriguez and Mike McIntyre. That was big.
Where's Mac?
I don't know where he is now.
He went to Memphis, right? First,
is he still there?
I don't know.
I don't think he's still there. I don't know. 2 more years of that, and it was.
2 more? What are you talking about?
Had there been 2 more years of that?
Why did you think there were going to be 2 more years of that?
Well, had they not done it in 19, they wouldn't have done it during the pandemic, I don't think. Oh, Dallas about to answer. Touchdown.
When did you get the inkling this model would work? Podcast or video? What are we talking about? Podcast, I have no idea. It just kind of happened one day. I don't know that I have some eureka moment on that.
The live stream was, frankly, when I watched Jay Tate do it. That was honest answer. I watched Jay do it with auburnsports.com, and I said that's something we have to do. I didn't think, hey, would it work or would it not work? I remember saying we have to do it. Oh, McIntyre's still there. That's a touchdown, by the way, I think. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's in. The reaction from the fan base to Nut was, frankly, more positive than you would think 13 years later. But you have to remember, they're coming off Orgeron, so anything looked normal and like some step in the right direction.
Yeah.
You could – it didn't last long, but you could sort of sell the fact that Nut had been to Atlanta twice and won the West 3 times and some of that stuff. Yeah, writing to talking, I mean, I don't really know exactly. I mean, look, honest answer, when we saw some ads, because at that point our analytics were not good enough to figure out exactly what was going on to the point that it was either working or it wasn't working. But when people jump into the boat, I mean, probably the night that we did the deal with Ben and Critical, for honest.
Yeah, probably so.
I think that's the answer. And that was November. I think that was November of 12.
I think that's right.
Is when I think that was.
I can't. What did we pick for the Austin Peay game?
I picked 49-20.
Yeah, I don't remember my 45-17 or something was what I picked. I don't remember. I didn't give it a hell of a lot of thought. I just threw a number out there.
I'm hoping I'm not allergic to this hot sauce. I have a rash popping up on my hand.
Do you really?
Yeah, as I've been sitting here.
It doesn't have any raw tomato in it, right?
I mean, no, and I don't think that's what it mean. I don't think that's what it would be anyway, because I can eat a little bit of salsa and it won't do this. But that's what I've been doing. If you've been watching on the video, is I literally am having a hive pop up on my left hand. Yeah, so just something to watch over the next hour.
126-3.
Yeah, look, Austin Peay might score some points, and just again, as we said this morning, chill out. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah, I don't. They're pretty good. What's it called? FCS. I always screw it up.
FCS.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're a pretty good FCS team. They're ranked in the FCS. They'll have a nice team. I mean, they're not beating an SEC team, but it might be a little closer than people.
You think he shows them like the East Tennessee State Vanderbilt film this week and go see?
I don't think Lane's. I don't think Lane.
No,
does.
I'm talking about Austin Peay.
Oh, sure, maybe
Jason Simpson would.
He would.
Look, what was it? Freeze said in 13. It's going to happen. It just might be tonight. Is that what he said against LSU?
Something like that. Yeah.
Just stay in there. It's going to happen.
Oh, did he whisper at the end?
Yeah, kind of. He kind of had. Hugh had that preachery voice.
That's a Biden thing. Biden finished today with "Get your vaccine."
Did he? Yeah, Freeze would like. It just might happen tonight. It just yeah. We could probably find it and play it. Yeah.
All right.
I was really happy for Andrew Ritter that night. He had the game
for sure.
kick. Look, that was a beat to hell.
Andrew's my neighbor now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was.
Because I keep telling Carson, go down there and kick.
Might learn, I mean.
Yeah, but Carson really likes soccer.
Okay.
So if he played football, he couldn't play club soccer at all. And high-level club soccer's pretty damned intense at this point.
That makes
sense. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So I can see why he wouldn't want to give that up to go to football practices just to kick. You need some cold water?
I think I'm okay, but I mean,
All right.
it's starting to itch. I don't know what's going on. And why am I left hand?
I don't know.
I mean,
It's not bad,
no,
but I see it.
I mean, it's there.
Yeah, it's there for sure.
Yeah, Clarksville, Tennessee is where Austin Peay is located.
That's in East Tennessee?
You're way beyond me at this point.
Okay. You want to open phones and
Sure.
give it a shot and see what happens?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I'm looking for the number. I've got it here somewhere.
662-259.
0991. I was just going to put it up on the thing. There it is. I had to reopen Skype. I closed it earlier.
Okay.
All right, so the phone line's open. We'll give this a shot. You disappointed a lot of people on Monday.
It's all y'all's fault.
Yeah.
Wasn't ours.
Mm-mm. It's middle. That's right. North of Nashville, almost to Kentucky, according to Ginger.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey guys, it's Jarrett.
Hey, Jarrett.
Was that Christmas music in the background? What was that?
Yeah, so we are now, I'm now a single dad, so I have a 2-year-old watching YouTube videos. So, say hi to Mr. Neal and Mr. Chase.
Hi,
Say
Stella.
hi. Nope, she's scared. She doesn't want to say hi.
Well,
I'd be scared too.
what was she watching?
It's Color Ducks. It's a YouTube video.
Never heard of it.
Let me, hold on. So, Chase, you got some explaining to do, man.
I assume that's what was coming when I heard your voice.
Oh, because you picked Navy.
I picked Navy.
Yeah.
Um,
I picked Air Force and laid the points.
Yeah, I probably should have at least spent like 10 seconds on it, but it was one of those deals where taking the points seemed like the more pertinent move there. Just give me the points and we'll see what happens.
I mean, last year, exception, those games are usually decided by less than a touchdown.
Jared,
That's probably the
Jared, hang on 1 second. My mother says I should give you a Benadryl. Do you want a Benadryl?
I mean, I think I'm okay.
Okay. All right.
A Benadryl will put me to sleep. I already have enough time around.
I'm just
around
passing it
8:30
along.
anyway.
I mean, she's worried about you and checking on you.
She's watching?
So I just
Apparently
turned
so.
it on. Are you having some issues there, Chase?
I have a rash that has popped up in the last like 15 minutes on my left hand.
Did you like touch something weird or something?
I've eaten hot sauce.
He ate some
That
hot
is the
sauce
only
that
thing
has some
I've done.
habanero in it. And that might be what got it. What's in the drink?
It's just seltzer water. I mean, nothing.
Okay.
Literally nothing but water.
Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, I think I cure that, man. You might want to give that a try.
Do what now?
Some bourbon might cure that.
Oh yeah, let's pour it right on there and have a little. See how it goes.
Oh no, drink
Yeah,
it. Your body will be fine. So, yeah, mate. So the pick'em didn't work out well, guys. I lost 19-24. So we're 0-1. But we're gonna rebound this week. I have faith. It's gonna be okay.
So what's this week?
So I was telling you guys last week, me and like four of my buddies do college football pick'em. So we pick like 10 to 15 games against the spread and the over/under.
That's
and
right.
whoever
Yeah,
gets the right, you have to pay them $1 for every pick they get.
I remember now.
Yeah. So you know, I usually go with you guys' picks, and I lost this week. So
We all did pretty well, so I don't know. You know, both Jeffrey and I had winning records.
we picked a lot of games that y'all didn't pick. Though.
Oh, okay. Well,
See, that's not on us.
You tried to blame us, and it wasn't our fault.
If you need Oxford Ruston picks, we got those in spades.
Yeah. Who you got? Hey, who do you got? Ruston versus Oxford in Shreveport Saturday.
I think I'm gonna go with Oxford based on coaching. Sorry, Neal.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, remember that. You remember that next time when I don't pick Air Force.
That's true. I really don't. The only thing I know about either team is that Oxford has a good coach. I don't know anything about Ruston except that you went there.
Well, what else do you need to know?
Do they have a good team this year?
We always have a good team. We're the Bearcats.
That's a great point. But I mean, I feel like you'd be a lot stronger if you had that red R as your logo. I feel like that would make you guys. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have gone with Ruston.
All we did was we just took the R and put a Bearcat with it. So we even made
did they really?
We made the R better.
up the ante. Well, in that case, I'm gonna have to change my pick to Rustin.
It's a smart
based
man.
On, so is there anything to pay attention to at all on the game this week, or just injury free and don't worry about it?
Injury free and don't worry about it. You want to see some of the young guys get to play some, but no, you just want to get out. You want to win the game and get out. It doesn't really matter how you win it. There are no style points. Just win.
Good stuff. Well, so I'm actually not going to be even able to watch the Air Force game this week because we are going to be on our first plane ride to Texas at kickoff. So I'll have to tune in and get your thoughts after the game Saturday night.
Sounds great.
Thanks, Jarrett.
All right, guys, I got to get this baby to bed. Have a good one.
Good night, Stella.
All right.
Rustin went 7-3 last year.
So 3 teams cheated.
Hey, hello.
Welcome to the show. Who's this? Hey, turn your device down.
Okay, it's down.
Who's this?
This is Shelby. How are y'all?
Hey, Shelby, we're good.
I know it's not necessarily the football show tonight, but enjoying the conversation. Was just going to ask, after I was rewatching the game, do y'all think that the offense has to go fast for it to have the success that it's having? I mean, with all the players, the talent, the quarterback, the play calling, the defense, they're getting a lot of snaps. Just curious how important do you think the tempo really is with Corral back there?
I think it's an added benefit because it's very difficult to you can't substitute if you're going fast on defense, so you can create mismatches just with personnel.
Yep.
You know, it's if you don't practice going fast like that, it's hard to go fast. It can be a conditioning thing. It can if you watch a lot of college football, you'll notice that you see teams almost en masse look to the sideline on defense for signals. Hey, man, if you're rolling that play in 14, 15 seconds, there's not a whole lot of time to get signals in. And if one person gets the signal wrong,
that's it.
Game, night. Someone thinks you're in 2 and you're really in 3, or someone thinks you're in some sort of a combo, but you're not. You're in man. Someone thinks, hey, we're switching here, or you're picking up, nearest to the hash, and nope, you're in straight man, and that's how you create a situation where Elijah Moore last year was running 35 yards free against South Carolina. It was not that Elijah ran a 3.140. It was that South Carolina had a complete coverage bust because Ole Miss was going fast. So it's important, but look, I think they can still function at regular speed. But now that they have more defensive guys to work with, I think the temptation is, hey, let's go fast when we can.
Yeah, because with the defense not being so limited on, hey, if you go too fast, you're just killing your own team. I mean, it's there's no reason to slow down.
Yeah, and that's what I was wondering. I was, at what point, because we are supposedly, and I think it's true, are a little deeper this year on defense, and so maybe it's not as much of an issue as it was last year. But it's like, if you can keep your defense off the field for 6-7 less minutes, do you sacrifice 6 points? At what point does it kind of even out? I don't know. It sounds like it is a huge way to get mismatches. So anyway, I was just curious. I'll keep listening. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Right. Thanks for the call.
Shelby.
All right.
Dallas 7, Tampa 7, 14-42, second quarter.
See, it's not so bad. The Saints are going to win the South.
Oh, yeah. Well, as long as they get to do it at 8 and 9. I did see, though, where they were trading for a corner, and that was the reason they cut Latavius Murray. So I somewhat apologize to
because they got
Mickey
somebody,
Loomis and
they got somebody that's going to be available in week 2, right?
Yeah, I mean, they actually it was a big upgrade. So they made a good decision. Tony Jones, it is what it is, but yeah, it's Bradley Roby from the Texans.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey guys, it's Vibin Reb. How y'all doing?
Hey, Vibin, what's up?
Nothing much. Watching Dallas, Tampa Bay. I had my draft last night, and I got Amari Cooper playing tonight. But the guy I'm playing has Zeke and Buxty, and they just had a tackle for loss. That's not good. But nothing much. Just watching some football ready for the weekend. I don't think it's going to be near as exciting as last weekend. But that's usually every year, week 1 from week 2. Week 2 usually has some duds.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. I mean, you want to start with the bang. There are some good games, though, nationally. I mean, a lot of people talking about Ohio State and Oregon. I think Iowa State's got a chance to be a really good game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there aren't a ton of them. I think Kentucky, South Carolina, not Kentucky, Missouri has a chance to be interesting. I guess it's conceivable that Arkansas, Texas could get interesting because it's going to be such a big game in Fayetteville that they've been pointing at for a while. I think Mississippi State, NC State's got a chance to get interesting.
I think that's going to be a very good game, honestly. I think it's either going to be a close game or NC State's going to blow them out.
I'm with you. And there's one other game that is out there.
Pitt, Tennessee.
Yeah, Pitt, Tennessee is – I'm intrigued.
From a conference level, it's interesting.
Yeah, and then I expect that, in all seriousness, Navy, Air Force will be –
a fun game.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a game that we watch and people get a little lump in their throat.
Yeah, for sure. I heard y'all reminiscing about, the spike y'all had in numbers when you started doing the pod. I wasn't listening to the podcast around 2013 when Freeze had that huge recruiting class, but it kind of got me wondering, out of all the crazy recruitments that Ole Miss had with kids in that class, what was the one that stuck out for y'all that year? Was it Laramie or Chris Jones?
Chris Jones was the crazy one. The one that I remember the most was Laquan. For me, because I flew to Chicago, but that day I get to the airport. I went to Jackson and flew out.
You did.
And my birthday is January the 10th, and so this was like January the 13th, and I didn't realize that my driver's license had expired, and they wouldn't let me board the plane. And I was able to renew my license quickly online and show them, and they let me.
They allowed that.
They let me board the plane, but I couldn't rent a car in Chicago.
That's right.
And
Edgy Tim.
And Crete is not like you can take the subway south, but it won't take you that far south. And so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get there. I guess I'll catch an Uber or whatever. It was going to be a really expensive Uber. And Edgy Tim from the network was going, and he went an hour out of his way each way, picked me up in downtown Chicago,
and drove me to
Laquan's deal. And I'll tell you, this is a funny story. I don't care. It's been long enough now.
Oh, this is right.
We're sitting there, and we're waiting for the announcement to happen, and I had all the stuff ready. I'd done a lot of Laquan Treadwell stuff, and I was 99.99% sure, but there was somebody that was saying, hey, I think it might be, was it Oklahoma or Oklahoma State?
It was Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State.
Because that's who took him to the Panda Express.
Yeah. And anyway, I look down at my phone, and it's Freeze calling, and he goes, are you there? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, that's really cool. And I said, you are getting him, right? and he goes, yeah. And it was like the first time I was like, whoo, because man, that was about to be the single most embarrassing, like all that trouble to go write it for whatever the Oklahoma State rival site is was going to be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, Laquan, I think, was the first big one they got on board, and then
publicly.
It started to become more and more apparent that they were going to get Robert.
Yeah, Robert was the first one. Robert was the first one they got on board. He just didn't want to go public until signing day because of the whole TV thing. But Robert was telling people he was going.
Yeah, the one that still, I was a senior in high school, and I'm just refreshing Twitter like every 15 seconds because I honestly, I had heard Laramie Tunsil's name before, but it wasn't any like legit. I didn't think they had a legitimate shot at him. And then I was like, oh my God, I looked at one of my best friends who went to Ole Miss with me. I was like, we just got like the number one tackle in the country. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And then Tony Connor, I think, committed later that day. But they missed on some guys in that class. They missed on like Elijah Daniel. They thought they were going to be able to flip Chris Jones. You know, that's just, I remember that recruiting class was just crazy.
Yeah, Peyton Barber, which is what opened up the door for Jordan Wilkins.
Correct, yes. That's correct.
Because they would not have gotten Jordan had they gotten Peyton.
Yeah. Another
Carl
thing,
Lawson.
have you guys heard this rumor coming out about Orgeron?
I've heard several rumors.
Enlighten us.
Yeah.
All right, so
is this the one about the hunting camp?
I'm from the hunting camp or the fish house. I'm from Southwest Mississippi, so this is basically LSU country. So all my friends, they're big diehard LSU fans. After last weekend, they're done. They want to hire Kiffin. If not Kiffin, they want to hire Napier. I'm in this group chat with them, and this guy, my buddy, just copied and pasted a story about how he apparently ripped his shirt off. Shocker, Ed Orgeron ripped his shirt off when he got emotional, and tried to fight a booster because the booster said his ass better win so many games, and Orgeron basically challenged him to a fight.
I have heard this.
And there was also something at the end too where it said the booster. It was a pretty prominent booster, and he called, like, I don't know what's their AD's name. It was either the AD or the president of a college, and said, I'm not giving any more money as long as he's there. But I don't know, man. It seems like every other month something new comes out about how that program is basically turned into a train wreck.
You want to hear a name on LSU that's going to pop up?
Yeah, for sure.
Eli Drinkwitz.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think he'd be a possibility for them. I just assumed
that's not sexy enough for Woodward.
Kiffin.
That's not sexy enough for Woodward.
I'm just telling you a name. It's going to come up at LSU.
I'm just telling you, it's not sexy enough for him.
Okay.
He's obsessed with headlines. Most boring.
Is Napier sexy enough?
To me, he's the fallback stopgap. He's there.
I think he's a safe option.
Yeah.
I will say this. This isn't really a hot take because I think a lot of people think this. I think the Ole Miss game on October 23rd is going to be Orgeron's last game as head coach, because I think they're losing to Kentucky and I think they're losing to Florida. And at that point, after they lose to Ole Miss, they'll be 3-4, and they still have to play A&M. Well, actually, I think they may play Auburn before that too, so they may already have 4 losses.
Yeah, they've still got to play. They've got to go to Mississippi State. I don't have this in order, but they've got to go to Mississippi State. They've got to play Auburn. They've got to play Florida. They got to go to Kentucky, and they have to go to Ole Miss. It's like 5 straight games.
Yeah, I think they're going to lose most of those.
I do. And then they still have Texas A&M after that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm enjoying it. You know, they got to win everything 2 years ago, and I didn't hear the end of it down here. So now it's like this is their fall back to earth. Plus, apparently, I don't know how it sounds like the NCAA thing isn't completely going away, which is nice, seeing that happen to someone else.
Yeah, it's not going away, and I think it's. I've had this conversations with people because I know this is not going to shock you. LSU has this arrogance about it that, we can just go get anyone we want. They do this all the time in every sport. Huh?
Their fans are like that, yeah.
But, there's this, they'll just go get Lane Kiffin. And listen, I'm not the guy that's telling you Lane Kiffin would never leave to go anywhere, because I don't believe that. But I'm not. If everything's even, obviously LSU is a higher ceiling job. The last, Ed Orgeron won a national title at LSU. I rest my case. But if that NCAA thing's hanging over you, Lane's been down that road before.
Yeah, I don't think he'd take that job. I really don't. If it was under normal circumstances and they had just fired a coach and there wasn't an investigation pending, then I think he'd definitely consider it. But I don't know if he'd do that again. Because, I mean, it basically is one of the reasons he got fired at USC, wasn't he? Because he had to recruit.
Yeah, well,
his huge sanctions that he inherited.
His team was really thin. Touchdown Tampa Bay, by the way. Gronkowski. Is that Gronkowski, 87?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that's that's something anybody would have to think about. People in the thread are mentioning James Franklin. Are you leaving Penn State for LSU right now?
That'd be fun, though, just from a podcast standpoint. Give me Franklin and Baton Rouge.
Sure, good Lord.
They'd fit each other well.
Listen, this Title IX thing down there has a chance to just get super ugly. I mean, really ugly, where I just don't know that you want to touch it.
Oh, I'll be completely honest. I think Woodard would want to make the splash hire and go after a guy like Kiffin. But I think from an institutional standpoint, the president may step in and be like, hey, we need a squeaky clean guy because, they've just been a train wreck off the field. It happened the night they won that national championship, and you got OBJ handing players $100 bills.
I don't think they know safe like that. They just paid Kim Mulkey $3 million a year. It's just go until you're caught and can't go again.
But they didn't get who they wanted in baseball, and they went after big names. He was obsessed with Corbin. He was obsessed with O'Sullivan. He was going to hire him. And
From just a headline standpoint, he was obsessed with Pat Casey, even though that would have been a nightmare.
Right. And ended up kind of getting choice 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be fascinating. Like I said, I don't think Orgeron's going to make it through the season. I think he's going to get fired somewhere around October. But, all right, guys, thanks for taking the call.
Okay, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
All right.
I think it's Napier, but everybody's saying Napier, which makes me think it's not Napier.
Feels too safe. Apparently, we're the only ones that'll let throw the number up. If somebody else tries to post it, it hides it, which is interesting.
It's up on the screen.
It's not right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, who's this?
Hey, it's Matthew Mazzone.
Hey, Matthew. What's up?
Hey, I was thinking Saturday is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Just didn't know if y'all could take a few minutes to talk about kind of where you were that day and kind of how you think it should be honored Saturday and going forward. I know for a while news stations kind of spend the morning replaying footage and stuff. Just, it dawned on me that the kids playing out there on Saturday, kind of grew up in a post 9/11 world. Just wanted to see if you could take a few minutes to talk about it. I can hang up and listen.
Okay. You want to go?
Yeah, sure. It is interesting about that, there's a certain age now, or a lot of age, that they have no recollection of what that was like. That, maybe the pandemic, in a way, is their 9/11. As far as the one thing in their life that you know exactly where you were, or kind of whatever the one thing is that affected your life the most during that. I was a high school senior. I was walking between first and second period from English to basic programming, like computer programming. Somebody stopped me in the hall, mentioned the towers.
Computers in Hackney?
We had computers. Well, Corey, we had the we even had those little. I even had those little orange sleeves you put on them to try to teach you how to type, where you couldn't see the letters. I think they called them fast type. Yeah.
Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt. Just had to interject.
No, we're all good.
You're good.
It's fine. I don't necessarily remember. I know we watched TV all day. I don't necessarily remember when I had a full context of what was going on, but I remember the TVs being on in every classroom the rest of the day, and then I remember that afternoon driving home and seeing the lines at the gas stations and just around the block and so whatever, because that was the beginning of that gas shortage. Everybody thought they had to fill up that day, or it was all going to be out for weeks and weeks and weeks and whatever. But as I was right there kind of turning to go home, I could see the gas built up. That's kind of the last thing I remember from that day.
Yeah, I've told the story. I was in Auburn. I was covering Auburn. Auburn had just played Ole Miss at Auburn on that Saturday before, and Campbell had just been born. She was 3 months old, and my goal that whole weekend, that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday morning, was to get everything done, because Auburn was scheduled to play at LSU on Saturday. I was trying to get everything done so that I could get home and have some semblance of a break because I'd been in Auburn for the whole fall camp, and that they'd played a couple of games already, and I was just trying to get home, and I had the TV on in my room, but it was on mute because I was writing a story about Reggie Torber, the former Auburn defensive end, who at the time was a freshman defensive end at Auburn, who's from Baton Rouge, and I was writing the whole LSU didn't want you, you get to go try to beat them story because it was easy. And I looked up, and I thought it was a movie trailer at first, and then I went back to writing. I'd already transcribed, and so I was just writing quote transition, quote transition, quote transition. And I looked back up a few minutes later, and it was still going, and I realized it wasn't a movie. And at that moment, the two thoughts that crossed my mind were, there's not going to be a football game Saturday, and I just want to go home. I've never wanted to just go home more. And I got so frustrated that morning at the press conference with Tommy Tuberville. People were asking football questions. And you guys probably know me by now, and I was a lot more of a hothead then than I am now. And I wanted to just scream. I literally wanted to stand up and yell at people. It doesn't matter. There's not going to be a game, and it doesn't matter. Y'all do understand what happened. And I got out of there and drove home. That's what I remember about it. Corey, sorry.
Go ahead, Corey. Where were you?
What's up?
How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I was a junior at Ole Miss when it all went down. I did not see the first plane, but I was woken up by my college girlfriend at the time, who was from Princeton, New Jersey. So, it was kind of close to home for her. She called me and woke me up and said, "You need to get to a TV." And I did, and me and two of my roommates were watching NBC or CBS or one of the morning shows and saw it hit the second tower live. I remember that pretty vividly. And I can't believe it's been 20 years. It seems like yesterday. And before this, I couldn't, my parents would always say stuff like, I remember where I was when JFK got shot.
Sure.
You know, my grandparents would say, I remember where I was when Pearl Harbor happened. And I never had a frame of reference and didn't really realize it till years later when I realized I will never forget where I was, what I was doing, the circumstance. I don't know why your brain does that, but you can't shut that off. You remember every little thing about that day for whatever reason, which is crazy to me. But
well, our lives changed that day.
Understood it.
Our lives changed that day. I mean, profoundly, our lives changed that day. And I think we sort of knew it, whether consciously or subconsciously, that everything that we knew before 8:30 that morning wasn't there anymore. There was a new reality. I remember getting back to my hotel in Auburn to get my stuff, and I got on the phone with my dad when I think the first tower collapsed. Yeah. Maybe when the second one, and the magnitude of it at that point hit me. You know, I broke down. I mean, I remember just sobbing into the phone about how can this possibly happen? And and then I remember the fear of that morning when they thought there were multiple planes. And then I can remember thinking about how, and this is like to answer Matthew's question, I have kind of a radical opinion on this. I don't like, Chase and I talked about this earlier this week, Corey, and you know me pretty well, so you can tell me, Neal, you're being insane. I don't like some of the human stories that the media is trying to tell this week. And I get it. I understand why they're telling them, like 20 years later, and hey, these families, they got through it and they made it, and so-and-so remarried and the kids are okay. And I get why they're wanting to tell that story.
Who is the sports reporter that wrote the book? I've read the book and I'm drawing a blank right now.
It's Adam Schefter.
It's like To the Man I Never Met. I read the book and it's who is that?
Adam Schefter.
Is it? Okay, I knew it was NFL Insiders.
Yeah.
That's an interesting book, but it's also a weird thing because it's not like the thing that people go through most of their lives where, I mean, the woman he's married to is in love with two men right now. Like, she is in love with the man she lost on 9/11 and him, and he has accepted that. It's a weird dynamic.
Yeah, to finish my thought, and I interrupted myself, but to finish my thought, what really bothers me is that I don't know that we put enough emphasis on, like, I've made my kids watch it. I've made them watch it. Americans, white, black, male, female, all different walks of life, had to stand at a window at what was then the business capital of the world, and they had to make a decision: do I want to burn to death, or do I want to leap to my death? There was no choice C, and the people that did it to us wanted it to be even worse. They wanted to blow up the Capitol or the White House. They wanted to kill more people. They actually fantasized that one tower would fall into another tower and that it would happen much quicker. They didn't realize that the people would have as much time to get out as they did. They meant for it to be much worse. And sometimes in our rush to be a kinder, gentler, more politically correct nation, sometimes I get really frustrated that we don't teach. No, they hated us. And they wanted to kill us. They hate our way of life. They hate everything about us, and they still hate us. And if they could do it again, they would. I wish we would teach that, and I know that will never happen in America's schools today, but that's what I wish we'd teach. Because what I do remember most, and you guys comment about this because I think you'll too, what I do remember the most after 9/11 was almost immediately we were nice to each other.
Yeah.
We were on the same team. We were on the same team for a while. People were kind to one another. People were considerate to one another.
And it lasted a while.
And it lasted a good while.
Yeah.
Like whether you voted for George Bush or you didn't vote for George Bush, that night that George Bush strode to the mound at Yankee Stadium and threw the pitch, and it was a perfect strike, and the crowd started chanting USA, 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 and the Yankees, because I think the baseball gods just determined that it was going to be that way. I think the baseball gods were like, look, we'll let the best team win, but the New York team's going to win these 3 games in New York in dramatic fashion because it's going to be cathartic. And it was. And I remember, and Corey, you're a Cubs fan, I remember Sammy Sosa running out into right field, waving his flag, and it was emotional. And that's what I remember. It was all that stuff. And it sucks that it took that, but like at this time in our country when we're so freaking divided, sometimes I wish we'd say, "Hey, I wish we could. Let's show you this."
Not to get political, because I'm a right leaner, but I also have in my head a lot of stuff from that time period of, Will Ferrell being George W. on Saturday Night Live and the skit shows and everything else. But going back and watching the Netflix documentary, I don't know if y'all have watched that or not.
I've started it.
It's pretty good. But W was a gangster. Like I have found myself really impressed with a lot of the ways that he handled a lot of what was going on. Huge ones. Some of the stuff that he did, decisions he made. I think everybody. I remember a lot of stuff about making fun of the book he was reading and him not acting while he was at the elementary school in Florida. And listening to Andrew Card talk about when all that was going down, and the look on his face seems different to me today than it did when everybody was kind of belittling it right after it happened. It looks less like I don't know what in the hell we're going to do, and more like we're about to kill these people. Like that kind of is the impression I got.
There's a documentary about Air Force One that day where one of the things that was realized, this is not political, this is, because Bush followed a Democrat who followed his dad, is that Air Force One was not equipped to communicate the way that it is today. There were times that they were in the air that day And, the truth was they scrambled the planes and stuff. They should, because they were coming for the White House.
Mm-hmm.
The terrorists didn't know that the president wasn't in the White House. They wanted to blow up the White House.
Right.
They would have to, when they would fly over a city, they being Air Force One, when it would fly over a city, they would get the antenna signal just long enough to get a few pictures, and then they'd lose it again. And it was maddening for them. It was one of the things that Bush got so mad about that day was, hey, I need information. I need to get somewhere to get information, and then I want to get back to Washington because I want the country to see that I'm there. And the Secret Service.
Didn't they land at Shreveport first?
Yeah, they went to Barksdale at Shreveport. Yeah.
And then somewhere in the Midwest, like Oklahoma or Nebraska or somewhere.
I think it was Nebraska, and then from there they went to D.C.
Yeah. Well, no fun story time with Corey tonight. I called it the somberest time in the history of my calling.
If you have a fun story, go for it. Now would be a great time to launch one.
I have no jokes.
Okay.
I'm good. Y'all are. I have been told that one thing that was very important to ask is, how are y'all doing?
We're lovely.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Where are you headed? Walmart.
And I am leaving I left my fiance's place and I'm headed to my parents' house. I'm a 40-year-old homeless man that has purchased a home but can't live in it yet. And we're doing renovations and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's a whole different. It's a different world out there, guys. It's different. I'm headed back from almost Pontotoc back to Amory. I'm in Wren. Wren's bigger than any city in the country. If you leave Amory, you're in Wren. Aberdeen, you're in Wren. Oklahoma, you're in Wren. Nelson, you're in Wren. It's the truth, isn't it, Chase?
Yeah,
you live here. Wren's huge.
Oh, geez.
All right, buddy. Good talking to you.
See y'all. Be
Later,
good.
Corey.
Bye.
Bye. That was Corey Clark. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Matt in Tupelo.
Hey, Matt.
I would love to know y'all's reaction and response to a little game I'm going to play, okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so it is the first Monday of college football. Not this past Monday where we played, but the Monday before.
Okay.
And the football gods come to y'all at the same time because, of course, they're football guys. They can be at two places at one time, right?
Sure.
That's what makes them so great.
Right.
And Neal, they say, Neal. And I think you would say, yes, football guys.
Okay.
And they say, we have a message for you. And you say, yes, football guys. And they say, Matt Corral will throw his first touchdown pass with 7-11 left in the fourth quarter. And they leave. All right, so hold on to your thoughts. And so they go to Chase at the same time and say, Chase. And I imagine Chase would be kind of distraught thinking about his Saints. And he's just like, yeah, what is it? And they says, Chase, we have a message for you. And you say, all right, well, spit it out. What is it? Lane Kiffin will not be coaching against Louisville, and he leaves. Not Lane Kiffin, but the football guys leave.
Right. I got
What are y'all's immediate thoughts after that happens?
Honestly, my first thought, if you told me Kiffin wasn't going to be coaching, would have been COVID.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought something haymaker crazy there.
Yeah, not at all, because he's not, again, I know the Twitter thing, I get it, and it's funny, and it looks like Lane's crazy. He's pretty calm, like really calm. Lane's not carousing on the square. The media wants to make that narrative be real, and it's just not.
Yeah. What about the Matt Corral not throwing his first touchdown late?
I want to give a little
quarter?
pause to how the game went. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
But,
I probably would have thought, oh, they ran all over them.
oh, really?
Yeah, the reason I say that is I had the benefit of I knew how confident they were as a staff about this game. They just weren't particularly worried about it.
Well, I took it the wrong way. Then I was hoping that you'd say something like, "Well, of course, we'd have called each other and told each other the news that the football gods came and told me a story." And it's like, what was the first one? Well, Matt Corral's not going to throw his first touchdown pass until late in the fourth quarter. And not only that, but Chase would tell you that, hey, Coach Kiffin's not coaching that game. And oh my gosh, what did they get run over or what?
We might have talked through it, but I think that's probably what we would have decided. We would have assumed that there was some sort of COVID thing. I think. I really do. That's what I would have thought.
Well, hey, I love what y'all do, and I was just wondering what y'all would thought if Matt Corral didn't throw his first touchdown pass till late in the fourth quarter. I mean, I don't know what I thought.
Well, hey, thanks for the call, Matt. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Let's see. I need to put the call number back up, don't I?
You want to find out about that brisket?
Oh yeah. Does he want to call?
Yeah, he said whenever you're good.
Okay. I think I've got his number somewhere. Send it to me. We'll take this call. Send it to me, and I'll call it. I've got it somewhere, but I'm not sure where I have it. Hey, who's this?
This is Anthony.
Hey, Anthony, what's up?
Oh, not much. First time actually listening to the show live. Been listening to y'all for about 2 years now.
Oh, well, thanks for calling.
Oh, yeah. No, I was telling y'all, appreciate the show. Love it. I started watching y'all when I was deployed overseas. Give me something to watch.
Oh, well, thanks for your service. We appreciate it.
I just give you a little laugh. I live down on the coast, Ocean Springs, and I got to go to Tupelo Saturday for, I'm in the National Guard for the Mississippi. And I got to go to Tupelo. I got to be there at 7 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
My wife is 39 weeks pregnant. She's due Tuesday.
Oh.
So I'm glad y'all were playing late Saturday night because I'm going to have to watch something on the drive home. I know it's a long drive from Tupelo back down to the coast because I'm only 30 minutes from Mobile.
You do know that sometimes the babies don't wait until the due date, right? I mean, that sometimes like that's an estimated arrival. Sometimes the.
Oh yeah, I know this is baby number 4. So
okay, well then you're probably going to be okay then because it probably won't. Is it a boy or girl? Do you know?
It's a girl this time.
Okay. Well, she might not. She probably will wait.
I hope so. My wife's going to be a little upset.
Yeah, she won't be happy with you.
But I really appreciate y'all's show. I started watching it and then got more into it because I guess your COVID views because I work for the state for the COVID task force, and it just cracks me up some of the people because we used to. I'm gonna tell you a little story. We gave out 1,200 vaccines a day in 6 hours down in Biloxi, and I would sit there. I'd have to talk to people after they got the shot because it was all drive-through, and I'd have to wear a mask because it's just policy. And
sure,
but it'd be raining. I couldn't talk through my mask, and we'd have people come through. I couldn't talk, so I had to pull my mask down. There would be double mask and have a face shield and be wearing gloves and wouldn't roll their window down to even talk to me.
Yeah. But there are people that you see it on Twitter. There are people that are just legitimately frightened out of their minds, and I can't quite relate to it, and I'm sure you can't either. But it's a real thing.
Oh yeah, but hope to see y'all. Hear y'all on Saturday night on the way home. Y'all give me something to listen to.
We'll be
here.
It's
a long day.
Yeah, it will be. Well, hey, have a safe trip, and we'll.
Good luck with everything.
Yeah, good luck with everything, and we'll be we plan to be here Saturday night, so you can listen to us.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right, let me get Cole's. You want me to a Skype number or just FaceTime audio?
It doesn't matter.
I'll do the FaceTime audio. It might be easier. We're calling our friend Cole. We're going to find out how he did brisket in the sous vide because I'm genuinely interested. And sometimes you have to entertain yourself.
We're in charge. I mean, Call who we want.
Cool.
What's up, Cole? How are you?
I'm good, Neal. How are you?
Man, I'm great. So you did brisket in a sous vide. So tell me, was it a flat or was it a full brisket? How did you give me some deets on this?
So we've done all of them, and we've done 24 hours in the sous vide, 48 hours in the sous vide, different tips, a lot of different things, and it all comes out pretty much the same. There's not a ton of difference, but you still get that good smoke, that good char at that end. You don't waste your entire day trying to deal with it, getting up early, and then in the morning, and then that long sous vide, kind of you were talking about the steak earlier. It tenderizes the meat a little bit more, so it breaks it down, gets a little bit juicier without so much heat on it.
So you sous vide it to what temperature?
About 135.
Okay, and so when you put it on, do you put it on indirect heat?
Yep.
Are you using like an egg or a Traeger or something like that?
Yeah. Put it on the egg another 2 or 3 hours to get it up to 155 or whatever temp you're shooting for.
And then you wrap it.
Yeah.
Okay. So 135 to 155, and then you wrap it.
How long you leave it wrapped?
Usually just depends on when we when it all goes down. Sometimes 2 hours.
Because you're trying to get yours to what? 190, 195?
Yeah.
Yeah. You take it off at about 192, 193, and then you keep it wrapped. If you put it in like a cooler or something and put a towel over it,
that's right.
The residual heat will get it to about 195.
Yeah, everything else stays the same.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're wanting to cook, everything else stays the same. You just want to get that first part, out of the way with the sous vide.
So, but did you see a difference between 24 and 48 hours?
They were so far apart, we didn't think so. But I mean, there were possibly a difference.
Okay.
We need to go back and do it right back to back.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough difference for us to, do 48 hours again. We just tried it, and I mean, they both turned out fantastic.
You put the rub on and then put it in the sous vide, or did you put it by itself and then put the rub on later?
Both.
Okay. What else is going on, Cole? That's really good stuff. What else is happening?
Oh, well, yeah. You want to talk about 9/11? I was a freshman in college with bad grades, afraid I was going to get drafted.
Ooh, yeah. That was a
all the extremely patriotic people were like, "I'm going to war." I was like, "God, I got to get my grades up. This is not good."
Yeah, I don't know. The people that did that, I have the utmost respect for them. God knows I do. But I would have been like you. The thought of going over to that part of the world to fight.
It takes.
It's scary as hell.
It's what it is. Yeah, it like those. Frankly, it's one of the things that's kind of pissed me off the last couple of weeks is that we've quit talking about the 13 Marines that were killed over there, and
yeah,
that they should not be forgotten so fast in the mainstream. My opinion. I mean, we should still be honoring their lives on a. It should still be, in my opinion, should still be leading the news day in and day out. But it doesn't fit a narrative right now. And I'm not trying to be political. It's being honest. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit a media
exactly
narrative.
Right.
And so we've gotten away from it, and people quit talking about it like it didn't happen, and it just kind of bothers me.
Yeah, and so hopefully some of this revisiting will get us on a track. I mean, I doubt it will, but I'm hopeful. But I was going to ask also, Chase, have you tried the barrel bourbon series of whiskeys? I think they're all called barrel bourbon, or maybe barrel. I know one's a rye and some of them are bourbons.
I've tried several. I have a hard time going through the whole thing. It was a couple of years ago. They did a barrel 15 in probably 18 or 19 that was the best bourbon I had all year. It was whatever year because they switched it up. They only did that 15 for 1 or 2 years, and then I think their next year they went to a 14. But it was the 15 that was just incredible whatever time, because they've got barrel, they do the dovetail, the rye. There's it's 4 or 5.
the Seagrass Rye is what I've had this year. That's incredible.
Is it really?
Yeah,
because I had the really good one, but then otherwise I've been a little down on barrel. I don't fully necessarily like them always, but that's interesting because I like some rye. So
it's 115.
So we're getting,
but it has a sweet taste in it. I mean, it'll surprise the hell out of you, and it's really, really good. Yeah, I've tried some of the others. Dovetail, I've had it. It's fine. Some of the other ones they're okay.
Yeah, just okay.
But the Seagrass one is great.
The normal barrel bourbons to me have almost kind of a alcohol bitterness to them that I just can't quite get over. That doesn't do a ton for me.
Yeah, this one does not, but I 100% agree with you on that. Yeah, it's awesome. It is a fantastic whiskey. And so also I was going to bring up with you guys, I know y'all have talked about it a lot. Man, if I was watching Matt Corral at Oregon right now, like I just don't know. I don't know if there's enough seagrass to get me through it.
No.
Yeah, like all you need is whatever would be going on at Ole Miss at the time. Lane Kiffin's in Fayetteville. You've got whatever going on here in Oxford. And then on like Saturday, you're watching him throw for 380 and beat Ohio State on national television.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell advertising here sometimes, Cole. I like to think that I'm charming at times, but I'm not that charming.
I mean, that seriously would be just a weekly reminder of holy hell. I mean, it would be inescapable. I think it would ruin the entire football season for Ole Miss fans.
Yeah.
Every single
week.
week.
You think?
Every week.
While they're going 4-8, Matt Corral's
winning the Heisman and Oregon.
leading Oregon to the Rose Bowl. Yeah, that probably would suck for most people.
That would probably suck.
This show would not be a happy show most of the time. We've been there, done that.
We probably get Rick Rodriguez, whatever, transferring over.
Oh, you could have
whatever the heck. Rhett. I think his name's Rhett.
You were pretty. You sent me a text. You were pretty pumped up Monday night. You had a big time, Cole. Huh? You're all excited.
Well, I was just a ball of energy going into it. Like I couldn't sit down. I was just nervous. Like I think it's going to go good, but what if like this is just a disaster? And then it was about 5 minutes left of the game before I was like, hey, I think we're going to win this. Like, I was still extremely nervous. But yeah, after the game, I mean, it was a good feeling being back at that. I mean, just being confident in your offense and having a serviceable defense. And you got these guys. Oh, well, Louisville's not that good or whatever. I mean, guys running fast compared to last year. It doesn't matter what the other team is. Guys making open field tackles is not dependent on whether the other team is good or not. I mean, we just dove at legs last year and hoped for the best. And we made open field tackles and we ran to the ball.
Yeah.
And so it can't be. It is better no matter if Louisville's good or not. And speaking of Louisville being good or not, probably going to be fine because ACC's a wreck. But strength of schedule. Think about this, like if Austin Peay goes on to have a good year, which they started off well by beating a good FCS team, and that you got Tulane who looks promising. You've got other than Vanderbilt on your schedule. I mean, your non-con is pretty solid compared to most. Plus the West schedule.
Because Liberty's there, Cole. I mean, my God.
Oh yeah, and Liberty, of course. Oh God.
I was trying to get a roll out of Neal.
I've got a college football pick'em poll. It's a really good system. If anybody out there wants to do this, you basically draft football teams and you're going for wins. And so you got 8 people and you got to draft 10 teams. It's a snake draft, and you're just looking for wins. And so it gives you 8 or 10 teams to root for throughout the year. And by God, like if it didn't come around in my time and like my draft order I'd prepared firsthand is one, I've got NC State, so I've got or North Carolina, so I've got to root for Longo. And then it comes around, there's Liberty, so I've got to root for Hugh Freeze. And it's just I'm torn between emotions because I don't want to see either one of them do well, but I do want to win money. So it's got
to be a lot of money.
Hard.
I mean, it would have to be a lot of money.
You don't root for Longo every week, Neal?
I don't.
Do you not?
No.
Huh.
Ask me the rest of that.
I refuse. Yeah.
Because I don't.
Who knew that like concepts developed in like backyard football, where you get in the huddle and go, "Hey Jimmy, go long."
Chase
Hey
space.
Tom, go long too. Who knew that wouldn't work?
Yeah, everyone.
What do you? Oh, you're having your rod picks. I heard the glass clink there.
I heard the cube hit.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna send you guys this. Y'all gonna like it. Brewmate, they make the koozies and all that. They make a rocks glass. It's insulated.
Yeah, I've got one.
So you got the Brewmate's rocks glass?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Really?
There's not a better way to drink whiskey if you're going to have ice in it than that. It keeps it from melting,
Yep.
and it feels good in your hand. It's small, not like the bigger, bulkier ones. It's awesome.
Yep. Cool. Yep. Hey Cole, great talking to you, bud.
Yep, good guys. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, it stops the cube from melting. I mean, it still melts a little bit, but it doesn't.
That's huge.
It doesn't just
'cause
disappear.
Too much water will.
Right. Yeah.
That's why the big cube is better than the
right surface. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
physics. And
Glad I
whatnot.
can help.
Yeah.
Hey, look, although I've gotten fired as the biology tutor.
I didn't take the physics at Hatley.
You didn't.
I think I took physical science as a freshman. Does that count?
I'm not sure what we did at Ruston. I don't recall taking
A couple
physics.
biology is probably about it.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey guys, Walt in Birmingham.
Well,
Walt.
how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm not going to ask how y'all are. Everybody already knows we're past that.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear about Seth's hand having a rash on it.
It's getting a
probably
little
'cause he wore
better.
that
It's starting to
sticky
clear
blue
up.
hat. But
He's gonna make it.
anyway, so one thing I did think of was the Sissy Blue shirt thing, and now the story about the fish camp. I mean, these are really the stories I feel like I was waiting all off season for. I couldn't ask for a better LSU opener story than Orgeron challenging a fan on the field before the game. But
because as a rule, and, hey, let me ask you this, Walt.
about.
Hey, Walt, let me ask you this before you keep going. I'm curious.
Yeah, sure.
Because I've got a little. I'm gonna be careful here because I don't want him knocking on my door in Oxford. But yeah, when people do the overly masculine thing with something as simple as a color, like if a guy wears a pink shirt and a guy goes, "Oh, I can't believe you're wearing a pink shirt." I'm like, whoa, it's just a color. Wait, what is that?
Or or he finds out a guy, let his little daughter paint his toenails or something, and he gives him hell about it. Like one of those guys that's just got to be butch all the time.
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
Kind of feels like maybe you're trying to overcome a little something.
I mean, now you're talking about a sex scandal we could really sink our teeth into if something that direction breaks out. I can't even imagine.
No.
The tiger droppings would be on fire.
Yeah, I would subscribe to every LSU site for a month. Just
absolutely.
Yeah. Chase would come in here and say, "You ready for the podcast?" I'd be like, "No, I'm reading the LSU boards."
Neal, did you mention recently that Carson had a 16th birthday come out? Is that correct? I know you were talking about maybe a vehicle or something.
He has a 15th birthday coming up in
gotcha.
What's today? Today's the 9th. It's less than a month. He turns 15 October the 4th.
Well, it would be a great birthday present for a 15-year-old.
Not a car.
A subscription to Rebel Grove. I mean, it's a great deal. Every 15-year-old wants it. I mean, you could wrap it in an envelope and say, "Here, son, your username is Pizza McRib. Don't ask me why. Just have a blast."
I will tell you of my kids, Carson. I don't know where he's going to go to school, but Carson is Carson's pretty interested in the Rebels this year because he likes he likes Corral. I think he knows Corral's going to be good. I think he and his friends talk about it. When Ole Miss is good, the high school kids at that age, I think they chat about it a lot more than when they're sucky.
Well, sure.
Right.
Everybody likes a winner. I mean, I get it. So
nobody talked about Ole Miss at the Oxford high schools when Ed Orgeron was coach, and I'm sure nobody.
He came down Monday night during that game. He came down Monday night and said, "Could they go 10-2?" And I was like, I mean, it's
from Carson's lips to God's ears.
I was like, it's a little early, but I mean,
yeah.
From an eye test standpoint, I mean, you know, they got to stay healthy, but maybe. I mean, that was kind of our conversation, and it wasn't like in a past year if he'd said, "Can Ole Miss go 10-2?" I'd have been like, "Hell no!" And this time it was.
Had you put money on the over, I feel really good about the over 7.5 right now. Well, I'll say that.
I always did,
yeah.
but now I'm like, oh yeah,
that feels good.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned Dead Soxy on one of the pods this week. You mentioned the promo code earlier, but I got on to look at the clipboard socks and the Archie socks, and I noticed that in the description to every one of the Dead Soxy socks, I believe, it mentions that it has great arch support. And I just sat there and I said, what a great built-in NIL, thing we could have here in a couple of years. I mean, if Jason Simmons really wants to be on the lookout for great opportunities, I mean, arch support sounds great to me. I need it. I love it. You know, I just think it's something fit like Dead Soxy socks, and I think that would be one, but maybe we could only be so lucky.
There's a question in the thread about, do they talk about Arch? Arch was at an Oxford high school practice a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, yes, it was the talk of the school that night. That
was
Arch,
it really?
That Arch Manning was at practice, yeah, because there was a rumor that got out that he was transferring.
That was inaccurate.
That was inaccurate. But
that would have changed the complexity of the situation here locally.
Yeah. There was probably a couple of quarterbacks on the roster going, son of a – Surely not. I mean, God.
But kind of like that prank where Jared Goff.
JUCO. Where the quarterback's like, I'm done. That's it. But no, they talk about stuff like that. They knew that he was there that day.
Right.
Yeah, that made the rounds. That made the chats and the stuff and the group texts and stuff. Sure.
So just for kicks, earlier I pulled up the old, Alabama 2015 and 14 box scores to see if anything was interesting. Do y'all remember who the leading Ole Miss receiver was in that 2015 Alabama game?
2015.
Cody Core?
My guess was Cody Core.
That's right. He had the play where Chad goes right and the corner runs up and he hit Cody Core for 73 yards. And then Cody Core had 3 other receptions that were 50 yards. So he was 4 for 123.
Oh, wow.
But the other thing I saw was there was one reception by one Mr. Jeremy Liggins for 18 yards. And I just kind of thought, God bless, Hugh Freeze. I mean, such a special guy.
The play that gets,
or if he put Liggins in the freaking slot or something, but whatever it was.
You do know the play before Wallace to Walton.
Oh yeah. The
play before Wallace to Walton, he got cute with Jeremy Liggins, and it was damn near a disaster.
He was holding the ball out like this, like
it
wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean,
You can't say enough about it.
Yeah,
I really hope we see a wide receiver pass for a pick six whenever Liberty comes to town.
Oh God,
it'll be well deserved.
God, it just moved.
But talking about, we talked about the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. Obviously, had a big impact on everybody. Lesser known but much respected 10-year anniversary, on the Rebel Grove board is the Arkansas Houston Nut. Nick McCready, interaction of the press conference.
Oh, that's coming up.
That is 10 years.
Yeah, they play Arkansas the week after Alabama, and let me preface it by saying it would never happen, but in my mind, the perfect scenario would be Ole Miss beats Arkansas 49-10, and then Lane would reenact it with you, but in a favorable sense. Where you ask it.
Very doubtful.
It was
stunningly doubtful. Yeah, there's a better chance. I think Ole Miss has a better chance of winning the national championship than Lane doing that after a game.
Right. Of course, in real life, he's either going to be, pissed that he lost to Alabama again, or he's going to be doing so many national media interviews that week we can't even imagine. But anyway, that crossed my mind.
Well, Walt, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. Great call.
Yeah, I got a joke, but I can holster it for next time if you'd rather.
No, go ahead. I like jokes.
All right. So a woman goes to see Dr. Long because she decides she would like breast enhancement surgery.
Okay.
And he says, I think you're a perfect candidate, but I want you to try some home remedies first. He says, every morning when you wake up, I want you to, rub your chest and say, Scooby-Dooby-Dooby, I want bigger boobies.
Okay.
So she goes home, starts doing it for a few days, and she's making progress. I mean, she's getting to where she wants to be after about a week, 10 days. She wakes up one morning late for work, and she sprints to the bus, just out of breath, and then realizes she didn't do her home remedy ritual. So right there at the bus stop, she rubs her chest and says, Scooby-Dooby-Dooby, I want bigger boobies. Gets on the bus and sits down, out of breath, glad she remembered. And across the aisle, little Johnny's sitting there, and he looks at her and he says, you've been going to Dr. Wong, haven't you? And she's kind of amazed and looks at this kid and says, yeah, I have. How did you know that? And little Johnny just kind of smiles and looks back at her and says, hickory dickory dock. That's all I got, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks, Walt. That's good. That's good. That's really funny. I did not see that coming. I should have, but I didn't. The phone's been blowing up, and there's no way to answer 5 of them at once. Here we go. Hey, who's this? Hey, is this Grind?
Yes, sir, man. Please tell me y'all can hear me good.
Yeah, I hear you.
Good enough.
Good enough. Yep. Yeah, it's been better, but it's been worse.
Okay, man. Oh, man. I'm enjoying this show, man. Y'all had me a little sad with the 9/11 stuff, had me reminiscing and everything, but, people that called in, cheered up and everything.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where I think it's one of those just moments in history that is so it's important to talk about. It's important maybe to get sad about it for a minute or two here and there.
Oh, no doubt,
yeah,
no doubt,
for sure,
no doubt. And I agree with you too. Like everything you said, I agree with you because when I was in elementary school, that was when they started phasing out certain kids didn't have to say the Pledge of Allegiance and things like that. And so. Yeah, man. I agree with you on everything.
How you been?
I've been doing good, man. I think I might have broke my toe yesterday, but I think I'm alright though.
That hurts.
I think I'm alright. Yeah, man. I slammed it up against a table, and I'm thinking that it was just a little bruise, but it's not my pinky toe; it's the fourth toe. So I feel like it's one of the most irrelevant ones. I was able to get a little workout in today, so I'm all good.
All right.
So. But man, I was calling it here. Did y'all hear about the? Can y'all hear me a little better now?
Yeah, that's a little better.
That's good.
That's much better.
You said that's much better?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, man, I was calling because did you guys hear about that a bowl game, that was going on this year got canceled before? I was gonna hit LSU, but I was trying to see. Did you guys hear about the Red Box Bowl?
I saw this. Yeah. Santa Clara.
Oh. Why did it get canceled?
Because, basically, I didn't even know about it, but it's the Pac-12 6th best team versus the Big Ten 7th best team, and so much for the alliance. But they said that the bowl game got canceled because they couldn't find the television partner.
Wow. You would think ESPN would just grab it.
You would think.
That's the same thing I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of the reasons I think quietly that they want to expand the playoff and stuff is because some of the lesser bowls just don't really work anymore. And no one goes to the game, and you don't get good ratings. And if that's the case, the kids don't want to play. And then
I-12 doesn't pull that much anyway.
Yeah, and so all of a sudden, is it really worth it?
I mean, that is true. I mean, I was thinking about that, but still, like, I could never imagine a SEC bowl game getting canceled because, like, no matter what tie-in it is, because they couldn't find a television partner.
Well, it wouldn't. I mean,
no, because SEC tie-ins would do well because people are going to watch.
The league watches each other.
The league watches, yeah. Well, that's like, I mean, I can tell you this, that UCLA the other day, beyond the game, looked around and they saw all the people at the game. They saw the TV number they got. They saw all of the interactions on social media, and they thought to themselves, so this is what it's like to be relevant again.
I bet, man. Speaking of did you watch the full game? Did you watch all the game?
LSU.
Neal watched a lot.
I watched probably 90% or more of LSU UCLA. I was drawn to it for some reason.
I mean, I agree with you, man. That game was way more interesting than Georgia Clemson to me. I would go to Georgia Clemson, watch for 3 minutes, and I was like, let me go back to LSU UCLA.
Well, it was the fact that UCLA was dominating the line of scrimmage the way that it was. It was kind of it was jaw dropping. I think for me, I thought UCLA would win. I picked them to win, but I kind of thought it would be fluky and it would be something kind of weird, and it wasn't. It was an ass kicking, and I didn't see that coming. You know, the running back for UCLA had a really good game, and he played well. And I don't want to take anything away from him, but he had some gaping holes to run through, and you don't always see that against LSU teams. And if that's what LSU is up front, and that's what it looks like, they've got L's coming, a lot of L's coming. And it was the part of the Orgeron. I've said this a couple of times. I don't want to be repetitive because we're at the end of the week. It was the part of the Orgeron thing about him yelling at the fan and stuff that, to me, it's disconcerting if I'm an LSU fan, is that Ed Orgeron walked into that stadium thinking they were going to beat up UCLA.
Yeah, just plow them over. Plow them over.
He didn't see that coming at all, and if I'm an LSU fan, that bothers me because that tells me that he watched the UCLA Hawaii film and said, "No, we got this. We're good." And he watched his team for a month and was cocky about it. I think he thought he had a championship contender.
If I'm an LSU fan, the things that would really bother me is that they interview, Ed Ingram after the game. You know how you guys get player interviews, reporters and whatnot.
Yeah.
They asked him, why didn't the offensive line look as good as they thought they would. His first response was, we were tired, we just weren't conditioned right. And then they asked him, another follow-up question, and he said, I wish they would have hired, a new offensive line coach earlier if they knew they were going to change coaches, before the season started. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Look, we've talked about this. They had this special season, but ever since that season, he's kind of lost his team. He lost his team last year before the year. And then during the season, if you remember, a bunch of guys opted out. A lot of guys just said, hey, I don't want to play.
Yep.
Yeah, and they've recruited well and all of that, but like the defensive coordinator's never coordinated before. He was a defensive backs coach, I think.
I didn't even know that. Like, why would you make that move? You LSU.
Yeah, I don't.
You guys remember when I called you guys on the hand raise? This was during the off season, and I had told y'all that Ed Orgeron had said that Zach Arnett just wasn't quite the fit. Just what Matt Moscona had said.
Yeah.
And that just seems like wow, I mean, I don't know what's going on down there, but I mean, like if you're an SEC West team, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like it. Like, if LSU floundering around, then that just makes it easier, for whatever team you root for.
Well, I mean, it's kind of changed the way I look at the West. And I listen, it's one game, and they've got a little time to get well, but they've got that stretch of games in 3 weeks. And it's in 2 weeks. Yeah. It's in 2 weeks if you don't just give them the Mississippi State game. And I don't know what I think about that.
And I'm not. That game is so intriguing. I'm so ready for that game.
Well, if that game in Starkville, if that game grind is intriguing for LSU, they're in deep trouble. because the next few teams they play, I always lose track of the order, but it's in some order. It's Auburn, Kentucky, Florida, Ole Miss, Alabama. If Mississippi State's intriguing for LSU, they're in deep trouble because those other 5 teams are better than State.
I agree. And my last thing on the UCLA LSU game before I move on, the funniest moment of the weekend, man, came from the announcer when Max Johnson threw an interception to a guy named Caleb Johnson for UCLA. And he said that's Johnson on Johnson crime. I was like, what? He said that's Johnson on Johnson crime. I was like, whoa, what?
You know,
but my thing with A&M, I'm not like I didn't buy A&M going into the season, and the way Haynes King played just made what I thought about them even lesser. And I do not like their linebacker play because if you watch them, O'Neal, who's a hell of a safety, he's a hell of a ball player, hell of a player. But against Kent State, if you notice on the pick 6 that he took back, dude was playing a robber linebacker position, which just lets me know that, man. And Kent State rushed for a lot of yards. And if you listen, they'll say, well, the quarterback, ran for a lot of yards. Well, who's responsible for quarterbacks on if he runs on a passing play? That's linebackers, do this. And that's why I said, man, like if you look at, A&M recruiting throughout the years from 2018 to now, they've missed that linebacker. And I think it's going to show up during the season. I think they're losing to Ole Miss, just the way Ole Miss schemed Louisville.
They've got some time to fix it. I mean, I'm not ready to write off Haynes King yet, just off one game, because who knows, nerves and all of those things might have kicked in. I mean, he's a kid, but Jimbo's got his work in front of him. I'll tell you this: they've put a lot of emphasis in that program with this is the year they get Alabama. Buddy, I don't think so.
It ain't it.
I don't think so.
Look, man, it's only 2 programs in the country. It's only 2 programs in the country. There's 2-2 versus Alabama, and they last 4 games, and they last 4 meetings with Alabama. There's only 2 programs just 500.
Clemson and
Auburn.
Auburn.
That's Clemson and Auburn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm also saying, before I let y'all go, Chase, why you pick Mississippi State? What you doing?
I don't know. I chickened out for 10 days. I'm talking about Dave Doran and what all he's going to do, and I woke up this morning and I freaked out on myself, crying. I don't know. I got no good reason. The ACCs look like crap. That's all I got. I don't know.
As soon as that game, probably as soon as the game over, you're gonna be like, "What was I doing? What was I doing?"
I'm telling you now.
Yep. I went with NC State. I stayed with them. I'm rolling with the
You
Wolfpack.
right. Hey, look, you right too, and that's why you gonna win Neal's pick.
I know. I know.
That's why you gonna win, because Chase want to do stuff like that. Just don't.
It's what we do.
Just giving a game away for no reason.
We just win. I mean,
it's like we handed you sugar to put in your coffee, and then you went purposely into the cabinet and added salt to your coffee. Like, come on, man.
I know. He overthought it. Hey, appreciate your grind as always, buddy.
No problem, man. You boys have a good night, man.
You too.
Later, bud.
Hey, who do we have?
What's going on, guys? It's Tommy from Oxford.
Hey, Tommy, what's up?
Oh, man, just driving.
Where are you today?
So, I just left Chicago.
Oh, so you headed south?
No, I'm headed east. I'm headed to Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
I was in your favorite city last night.
Somewhere in Iowa.
Dubuque.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just tell everybody I said hi.
Yeah, I told everybody. I was like, all right, tell him we said hi. I've been driving for 20 years. I had never been to Dubuque and honestly didn't even know where it was.
Spectacular, right? Just gorgeous.
I get almost there and I'm like, oh hell, this is where it's at.
I've never even been in the state, not even for a split second. So, but I got to go sometime. I've been invited multiple times because I've been nothing but
really?
Oh yeah, I've been nothing but nice to Iowa people, and I've had Iowa Hawkeye fans tell me that I can come to their tailgate. I got tickets, the whole deal.
Oh,
yeah,
some bitch.
I know.
Get ready to see a bunch of farm equipment.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that's Middle America, my man.
That is it. They're nice though. I mean,
oh yeah,
yeah.
They
They let me walk through the Wendy's drive-through, and then you don't get that everywhere.
Oh yeah, that's true. I would think Iowans for the most part are a pretty pleasant people.
Yeah, they're pretty nice up there. I mean, just hard-working folks, man. So, how you guys doing tonight?
Oh,
you
we're
guys doing all right?
Yeah, we're good. We've just been going about 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's been a week. The playing on Monday night and turning around and playing on Saturday it's not what I would recommend for too many times. So I can do it once, but I wouldn't want to do it 3 or 4 times in a week. That's in a year. That's for sure. It's cram. You cram 4 days of work, 5 days of work into about 2 days.
Heck yeah. I got to go back and listen to the first part of the show. I was out loading when y'all first come on, and then I jumped back in and caught the second half. So I'll listen to it in reverse. I'll listen to the first half later.
Yeah, don't forget to listen to the pregame show. There's a lot of good stuff with Pete and others. If you can listen on YouTube, I don't know if you have the YouTube Premium.
I can.
Yeah.
Good
stuff.
Oh, yeah, I got it, man. I had started when you were talking to Pete. I had just clicked it on, and then my phone wouldn't stop ringing. I just usually put it on and throw it over in the seat over there. I don't watch it going down the road. I just set it to the side and listen to it.
That's good.
And my phone just wouldn't stop ringing. I'm like, shit. Let me answer. But I'll go back and watch that, or I'll watch it first thing in the morning.
Well, hey, listen. Be safe driving to Baltimore tonight.
Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye. The caller stepped up tonight.
Yeah, no.
We had a good night with the calls.
They bounced back.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Lee.
Lee?
Yeah.
Hey, Lee, what's up?
Hey, just wanted to say, I think the pregame pod that you do, the YouTube, is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. And I haven't listened to all of your show tonight. I will later, but I just wanted to hear your thoughts, man. I'm an Ole Miss grad. Appreciate your perspective, but when I watch Ole Miss on Monday night, I don't see too many teams. I think across the schedule, outside of the Alabama game in a couple of weeks, I just don't see many teams that they can't beat.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I know you.
I mean, my general thought is of the teams that I saw, the only team that I saw that I thought was clearly better than Ole Miss was Alabama, and I thought Alabama was clearly better than anyone that I saw.
Sure, yeah. That was it. Clearly better.
Yeah, I mean, I was. If I'm an Auburn fan, I liked what I saw. It was Akron, but I liked what I saw with Auburn.
And I still believe in A&M enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready to write A&M off. I'm going to give Haynes King a little more time.
But as far as how everybody else looked on week 1, that was it.
Yeah, for sure.
It was those 3.
Yeah, we saw the A&M movie before time and time again. They just, they pan out to be an 8-9 win team, and
the reason that people like me sort of give them the benefit of the doubt is because their defensive line from a personnel standpoint is potentially really good. Where it's impactful, where they could impact games. But you're right. I mean, look, we've done this hype thing on A&M before, and they don't live up to it. And so if that happens again, nobody's shocked. But look,
Ole Miss has less margin for that one injury being a big deal because they aren't deep enough in so many spots. I mean, where a sprained ankle to Nick Broker is a huge problem for 4 weeks.
Well, I'll give you an example. Ben Brown went down the last, and to my knowledge, he's okay, but he went down the last 20 plays, and they put Bryce Ramsey in, and it was significant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for what you guys do, and I feel like most level-headed fans kind of get this feeling right now of Ole Miss fans that they're like, this feels a lot like 14, feels a lot like 15,
sure.
And I feel like the coaching is infinitely better.
Yeah.
And we're going to get the players there, but I feel like it happened so fast. Matt Corral not even in the Heisman conversation too. All of a sudden he's on Feinbaum today, and he says, "Oh, this is the Heisman front runner," right? I mean, it's almost hard to believe.
Yeah, Ben Mintz and I talked about this on the show, and Chase and I talked about it at the beginning of the show. I'm not ready to call him a front runner. I was telling this story, though. I was driving Carson to Tupelo on Tuesday night, and he goes, "Hey, Dad, you see where Matt Corral's third for the Heisman?" And my initial reaction was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I thought about it, and I went, what are you talking about? And he meant odds.
Yeah, sure.
And so I said, "Well, who's one and two?" And he said Spencer Rattler and Bryce Young. And the thought that went through my mind was, Corral's better than Rattler. Now, I love Young, and I think Bryce Young's a star.
Sure.
Okay, I mean, I think Bryce Young is a superstar. But I thought, and I told Chase this week. I said, look, I'm not saying it's going to happen, and in fact, I would bet on Alabama, and I would bet on Alabama pretty heavily. I'd probably lay 9.5 to 10 points before I even got uncomfortable. Honestly, I think Alabama's an extremely good team. But if you told me that Corral, if the football gods came down and said, hey, Ole Miss beat Alabama, I would tell you right then that Matt Corral wakes up on that Sunday morning as the favorite to win the Heisman.
Yeah, even if they were to lose to Alabama and win out, which
he'd have to lose.
I think that is a possibility.
They'd have to lose with him throwing for about 400 yards. He'd have to light it on fire. Because at some point, if Alabama puts up massive numbers,
he can get to New York at 10-2.
Yes, but to win it, probably
you've got to be an ungodly, unreal Robert Griffin, or you've got to be Alabama. Yeah, probably.
Or Alabama, Alabama has to become this super balanced team that Young doesn't stand out on.
Yeah,
and then that could happen. But boy, he looks the part too.
Well, thanks again, guys. Love the new podcast setup. Thanks for getting it back on in the morning. That's really good for the working man who has a little bit of time to kill on lunch break. So appreciate what you guys do.
All right, thanks for the call, Lee. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, so that's a good one to end on. 21-16 Tampa, early third, 14:38 to go. Yeah, it's been a really good game. The NFL usually delivers.
Always.
I mean, it's king for a reason, man. I mean,
the whole setup, the schedule,
the
enough
uniforms,
parity. I mean, it's all the way.
Just the whole deal. And you got to be excited for the people in Tampa. They didn't get to go see that team as much as they would have loved to last year, and
they're there tonight.
They're there tonight in
spades.
In force. And good for them. I mean, when Tom Brady's your quarterback and you won a Super Bowl. I mean,
good time to show up.
That's about as good as it gets, right? So, again, a lot of content on MPW Digital, on our YouTube, on rebelgrove.com. There's a ton there. I wrote a notebook today. Chase has a 3-2-1 that feels like it was written 3 days ago, but I think it was yesterday. Picks, wow, yeah. I know. Picks are up. Butcher versus the spin instructor.
There's a ton of content. Snap counts. There's stuff. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I did what Kiffin said, what he meant. There's just a ton there. So
and a 3-hour video.
And a 3-hour video that really encourage you to watch and subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and
send it out in some email chains, that kind of thing.
And we'll make this tomorrow's or Friday's audio podcast, so there'll be plenty there. Zach and I are taping a Soft Verbal podcast tomorrow around midday. There's a Mind on My Money up today as well, so if you're driving, we got you handled. So we'll do it there. Thanks to everyone who called. Really appreciate it. Great show. One of our better ones in a long time. So really appreciate it. We'll be back on Saturday night towards the end of the game, certainly after the game, but we'll probably start it up a little before that, and we'll stay with you guys for a while because Chase is locked into Vanderbilt, Colorado State. He can't wait. So we'll talk about that. Enjoy your weekend. If you're driving somewhere this weekend, if you're heading up here or anywhere, please be careful, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.